Good morning, afternoon, and evening all, and welcome to In the VC, the pre-race show that discusses all the news and events occurring within the virtual paddock. And welcome along to the Italian Riviera here in Imola for round 3 of Artito Racing Formula 3 Championship. My name is Kendrick Garlic, and joining me on the desk as usual is the voice of Artito Racing himself, Kendrick. And Kendrick, there's a bit of enthusiasm for today's race.
Exactly. Um, there's a lot of things that opened up during the Silverstone Grand Prix.
Yeah.
For like, uh, it wasn't the first time, but at least for this season, we saw that someone else, there's another name popping up who's trying to dominate the championship.
Yes, and of course that name is Alessio Siri, the Italian driver who didn't make himself known in round 1, but in round 2 he certainly showcased his presence and pace, winning both races as well as getting the fastest lap and getting pole position in I think what can be described as a perfect weekend for him at Silverstone. And today he will be having his one of two home races for the season here at Imola. Of course, San Remo is just off the coast of the Italian mainland and to commemorate the home race, actually, in a pretty well timed decision, Alessio has released his new livery for the rest of the season, as has Mika.
Yes, that is true. And what do you think? It's quite nostalgic about this livery. I never knew that the Marlboro McLaren livery would fit well with the modern Formula 3 cars.
Yes, it's very fitting.
It's quite something, eh?
Mm. Of course, the livery being inspired by the McLaren MP4-4, which I think won the 1988 or 89 F1 Championship, and one of the most dominant seasons by a constructor in history. I think in all the races it finished on the podium all but once. And of course, the win was given to Ayrton Senna, and they number 12, they Ayrton drove in that season, is represented on the car as well. I think it's somewhat fitting that Alessio, in such his dominance, has elected to use the number of the Brazilian maestro himself.
Will he be driving with one hand as well?
Yet to see. I don't. The cars aren't using manual shifters, but I wonder if Alessio is just gonna somehow manage to get a manual shifter into his car just to make it easier for everyone else to catch up.
He might handicap himself just for the sake of competition.
Just needs a bit of enjoyment in it all. Just too
Exactly.
bored at the front. And there's a second livery as well that's been released. Miko has released his livery as well, so that means that the only default livery that we have now on the grid is from Sendra. I don't know if Sendra is racing today or not. Hopefully, we'll be able to find out at a later point in the day. But Miko has introduced his livery, and his is pretty much an original design, very heavily based upon his national flag, of course, the Filipino flag. And I'd say it looks very, very nice.
Looks awesome. It looks cool. It's something new. It's quite unusual for racing. It's very.
Cut out a bit.
Oh, sorry. You want me to repeat?
Yes, please.
What I was trying to say was it's quite unusual. It's not that typical race car livery that we are so used
Cut out
to
again.
seeing.
I don't know what's happening on your end. You're halfway through the sentence and then you just go.
My God. Okay, so mic check. Hello. Check 1, 2, 3.
Nope, you cut out again.
Okay, so that's different. Yeah, continue in your part. Just continue.
Maybe.
Where?
Couldn't be.
Wait, hold on. I'm having you cut off as well, so technical
Oh.
technical errors there. So I think we should rejoin the call just to be sure. There we go. Check 1, 2, 3. Check 1, 2, 3. Mic check.
You seem to be good. Test here. Round 3, the Imola Grand Prix. Hopefully this is working.
Alright, so yeah, there we go. Hopefully
There.
we're much more nicer.
So, hopefully problem fixed. So yeah, we have the 2 new liveries for the 2 of the privateer teams and also 2 of the front runners actually. So we'll be seeing those liveries towards the front. But of course we had the Silverstone Grand Prix last week, and there was a lot that actually happened as a result of that race. The first that we'll mention is how that's shaped up within the championships. And there is a 6-point difference between the top 3 drivers at the moment.
Mhm.
And those 3 drivers being Ballista, Alessio, and Sato. Ballista on 55 points, Alessio on 50, and Sato on 49.
Hello, mic test. Sorry.
Yep, there we go.
I lost the connection for my mic. Hello.
That would be it.
So hello guys. I'm back. Care to say what you said again?
So within the top 3 of the championship, they are separated only by 6 points. So we have Ballista in first and 55, Alessio on second and 50, and Sato in third and 49.
You know, the thing is, if they keep their performance up, it would be a tight championship till the end. Hopefully, that will be the case.
I remember last week saying that I think after the second round, the championships is going to start to look a bit clearer, and I couldn't be further from the truth.
Yeah, exactly.
Another interesting thing to note is if it is a three-way championship fight, you've got 2 teammates and someone who's not a teammate from driving independently in this championship fight. So the dynamic of it will surely affect Alessio in a good way, affect Alessio more, because how will they Yakitori Racing play from a team's perspective? Are they going to employ team orders or not? Like, that's going to be interesting to see. Will the other driver be willing to yield? We know Ballista being a 3-time champion, Artito is not willing to yield, and we know Sato, even though he's not got a championship, he is arguably a top 2 driver. He's probably the best driver on the grid after those two. So it's going to be very interesting to see as the season goes on if the points difference does start to build, if team orders start becoming a thing for those two. And if they start taking points off of each other, that's going to help Alessio even more.
The thing
Firstly,
is-
hello, Flying Cyan, race director, just sudden appearance into the chat.
Absolutely. I just went to get myself a nice McChicken, just getting ready for the coverage. And I've got it, and here we are.
the
Getting
thing
ready.
is,
I've got more food. I've got more food coming for the race today. Yeah, it's time to have some fun.
so
Solid.
yeah,
I think I think I think definitely that trying to go outside the comfort zone of GT racing and try something completely different. I think it's been one of the greatest things we've done because it's this new league has gone much better than what we could have hoped for so far. And fingers crossed. I hopefully I've not jinxed it that it remains the same all the way till the end of the season.
Certainly. Kendrick, you were saying?
yeah, my comment towards the team order things is that in this race we don't have a team manager to manage or to keep those two drivers to keep their heads down, at least to say. Team orders will be probably it will be much more brutal towards the two drivers, since it's more so towards being who's going to be the number 1 or number 2 driver. Certainly there will be a hierarchy towards them.
Here's a scenario for you. Okay? Let's just say Sato's not won a race for all season. Let's just say he goes winless every race till the end of the season. And let's say in the final race we get to a situation where Sato's leading the race, Ballista's in P2, hot in his heels, and Alessia's down the order, but Ballista has to finish ahead of Sato to win the title based on the situation at that point. Do you think Sato, not having won a race the whole season, will move out of the way to help Ballista and Yakitori Racing win the championship?
I think there'd have to be a verbal agreement between the two drivers at some point during the season where one of the drivers is clearly ahead in the lead, has the best shot of winning the championship. And at that point,
But
then I
let's
think they will both agree, okay, let's just give the one driver the best support that we can so we can get Alessio out of the way.
let's just say that Sato has got an outside chance of that championship on the day, just like Fabio has today. If anyone follows MotoGP, just like Fabio has an outside chance today against Pecco. Let's say he's like 23, 24 points behind. Not likely, but still possible. Anything can happen on the last lap. Do you think team orders will become a thing then?
I think if Sato still has an outside chance, in the instance that, I don't know, let's say Alessio is very far down the pack, maybe he's even out of the point somehow, and the outside chance comes from Sato coming first and maybe Ballista going a little bit more down the pack, and you have your faster competitors such as like your Miko, Sandro if he appears on the day, even Rohei or Raven in some instances, or Raj as well. If you have that type of competition bearing down on Ballista, I think then at that point Sada would try to fight for the championship, but so much of it is circumstantial, and so much of it I reckon is going to come down to the final couple races.
That's why I tried to keep it as simple as possible, that if, let's say, Sato doesn't want to race the whole season, and Ballista's hot in his heels, and like I said, that's, I think, the most simple way of putting it. And I think, personally, it is really 50-50. And I don't race much anymore, but I used to do league racing back in the day. No matter if you're in the championship contention or not, there's that racing driver brain inside you, where gentleman's agreement is not a thing anymore. I've always said this. Gentleman's agreement does not exist in motorsports. It just doesn't. Like, no. It might for the first few races or the first few laps, but when it comes crunch time, gentleman's agreement is not a thing anymore.
Yeah, I believe it exists in one form or another, but it's supposed to be taken by a grain of salt.
Anyway, moving along from the individual championship, we also have the Constructors' Championship to look towards. And while you would look at the Constructors' Championship with Yakitori in first, 104 points, say, okay, that's pretty solid. you have Kamikami in second on 54 and Brabham Racing in third on 39.
Which is surprising, right?
With the current, it is pretty surprising. Brabham has actually done quite well for themselves. So we'll get on to that in a bit after this. But Kamikami in second at the moment, and I think we predicted that in the pre-race show last week. But this week, Kamikami is not going to have one of the drivers. Raven has stated that she won't be able to race this race, and then the following 2 rounds, I don't believe Tobe is able to race either. And so that's going to harm the constructors' chance quite a bit.
Yes, that is true.
I think it's fair to say that Yakitori Racing are downright favourites. It's going to be hard to see anyone beating them towards the end of the season. However, the battle for P2 is going to be very interesting towards the end of the season. I think Kamikami Racing, Brabham Racing, Mystery Gang, either of those 3 teams can get P2. And I think the real surprise, I think, like you said, is Brabham. Definitely.
I don't want to count out the Mystery Gang as well. The
No,
Mystery Team.
I don't think you can quite yet. The issue they have with Mystery Gang at the moment is that Scoob has only scored 2 points this season. In 4
That's very
races,
surprising.
he's suffered, I think, entirely. He didn't score any points in round 1 at Hockenheim. And then round 2, he suffered quite a bit with incidences he got involved in. We'll talk about that a bit later. As well as, I think, strategy, I want to say, was his downfall in one of the races. So, like, he's struggled quite a bit the first 2 rounds. And Bo Hayes had to lead the charge for Mystery Gang in terms of the constructors. And
He's
so,
got a pretty,
as much
got a pretty decent lead over his teammate as well in terms
Yes.
of his individual team battle.
Scoop is in 16th and Bo Hayes in 6th.
Yeah, I think a lot of the Scooby's bad races this season have come. A lot of it has come down to bad luck, and I think it's going to be hopefully for his sake that he has a bit of a clean weekend this time around. But I think I would say that if Kamikami Racing can't have 2 drivers consistently up there for the next 2 or 3 rounds, I think Mystery Gang, even though they're 4th right now, about 23 points behind, I think they can still salvage P2. And it just requires a few good races from Scooby. We know Scooby is arguably
quick.
top 3 in terms of pace, top 3, top 4. And we know Rohei, while it's safe to say he's probably not the fastest driver, he is consistent. And the points don't lie. He's up there in 6th, hot on the heels for 5th and that final Pro AM spot. So them as a team could definitely pull this back together. So it's very early to say. I believe this is round 3 of 8.
Yeah, round 3 of 8.
I wouldn't count out Mystery Gang to make a late season comeback or even a mid season comeback.
Yeah, as long as they wouldn't be suffering with the strings of bad luck they've been having.
Yeah, I think the thing is we've seen a lot of incidents the last few races, and I think being a race director, as angry as I've been a lot of the time, we have to remember at Artito, we've never really had 20 plus people racing in a race consistently. And when you have that many people with a car so difficult to drive, you will have incidents. So I think that's why you see a lot of good drivers down the pack. You see Raj in 10th, you see Scooby down there, you see Rohei, you see Todd. There's so many good drivers out there who are arguably top 5 in terms of pace, but they're not top 5 in the standings. Like one name that stands out to me is Miko. Like he has gone about his business so quietly so far. The first 4 races, the first 2 rounds. Like him being up in 4th was genuinely shocking. He's just been under the radar, getting about his business, getting the points that he's up there in 4th. And I think that can definitely make a difference with who gets the final few Pro AM spots. I think the top 3 are quite settled at this point, but it's also very early to say. But in terms of my personal opinion, 4th and 5th is anyone's game to get the final spot. Like, and let's not forget that it's Alessio Siri. He's completely said that he's not going to be there for every race. If one of them cannot maintain enough points to be top 5, any one of those people in the top 10 or even lower can still get that final Pro AM spot. So, and let's not forget that Pro AM's a pretty coveted role now in Artito. Like only the top 5 get it. When you've got 20 plus people racing on a consistent basis, top 5 becomes even more exclusive.
Certainly. Something also I think we should mention with the battle for 4th and 5th is G. Now G from round 1 didn't go so well. He ended up scoring no points and going down to 16th on the standings. But last week he was actually able to do quite well for himself. In race 1 at Silverstone, he finished 4th and has shot himself back up to 9th in the standings and 20 points. And I reckon if G can continue with this consistency, I'm not entirely sure if he's racing this week or not, but I'll have to double check. If he can continue with his consistency, I reckon he'll be another person to look out for in terms of that 4th and 5th position within the individual championship.
Yep, definitely. I've said it
And
before.
go on, sorry.
No, I was just going to say basically what I've said before. Pretty sure I've said this every week. Let's not forget, G is very good with these cars. He's got experience on the side. He just hasn't had the luck the last few races. He should be up there, closer to the top 5. I'm very interested to see what he can do. I think he is definitely a dark horse in terms of his points table position to make the final few Pro AMs.
Yeah, certainly. And one final thing, I guess. Well, we've got a couple more things to talk about. But one thing in particular that I alluded to earlier was the consequences of Scoop's crash in I think it was race 2, I want to say, at Silverstone. And I think, Race Direct, you're probably in the most qualified position to talk about this. So
basically, yes.
Go ahead.
So much confusion about who goes ahead. So I think one of the things I've realized is we have not audited the rule book in a long time. And I think it was very important for me to audit the rule book, and I think it's been a few days over the week to do that. So we audited the rule book, and long story short, we revised all the penalties applicable, and one of the things we started adding was penalty points. So I think a lot of people had different viewpoints on the whole Scooby incident. And me personally, I think while yes, it was an unsafe rejoin, you could argue it's very borderline, in my opinion, from all my experience in racing over the last 10 years. It was very borderline, but I'd say Sato had enough time and enough of a vision the whole way after whatever that corner is. I can't remember. I'm very, very bad with corner names and corner numbers. But when he got up that corner down the straight, he had at least a good few seconds to see some Scooby. And Scooby wasn't driving at 90 degrees towards the track. He was at an angle, like 45 degrees, I'd say, trying to make a rejoin. So I think Sato could have done more to avoid that collision, because nowhere in any rulebook would you see a driver preventing or being prevented to rejoin the track after an incident. They have to do it safely. I think that's pretty self-implied. So I personally didn't think a penalty was necessary, an in-race penalty or a post-race penalty that would carry over into this race. But now we've got penalty points where in 8 points equals to a race ban, and the maximum points you can get for an incident in a race is 4. So that means 2 big incidents in a race, and you're pretty much out for a race. And I think that's pretty fair. When you've got 8 rounds and you have 2 incidents, 2 big incidents, that's a 25% strike rate. I think that's pretty fair. If needed, I'm quite open to making it 10 points, but we'll see. We're still finding our ropes around. It's a new system. So moving forward, the precedent is if it's a very 50-50 incident, but I feel like it'll be unfair to penalize the driver for an incident, but it was still his or her fault. It might get to a situation where they might get a penalty point or 2 on their license, but if they do too much of that and they have made a mistake. But a lot of times, like we saw with Leighton, he was very apologetic after the race. I think Leighton's incident was very, very, in my opinion, was pretty bad, because he was still in somewhat control of his car, and he went straight on the racing line and took out the drivers. I think incidents like that are what are going to award you 3 or 4 penalty points, and also an in-race penalty. So, yeah, that's pretty much the new rules we have now. And anyone who hasn't, it's available on the rules section. So, yeah.
Excellent. Pretty what's the term I'm looking for? Expansive, description of it, really.
He pretty much summarized the whole thing.
Yep. And so with those new rules in place, we have Lake Bun, who race director was alluding to earlier with the incident. He's gotten 3 penalty points, and then for Scoob's rejoin, colliding with Sato, he ended up deciding to give him 1 penalty point for the season.
I think it's also
his
important
license.
to point, if anyone's curious, that we're already going to have penalty points starting from round 2. Round 1 was irrelevant. I think round 1 was more of a test round, all of us, and I think we saw the number of incidents and track extensions, and I used all that data and experience to start to revamp the book like I have done. So, yeah. That's why penalty points are starting from round 2.
So even
And one more thing I will mention before we head off to break. Race 2 from Silverstone was pretty interesting. Vaj ending up finishing second, and Morbish unsurprisingly, and I think this is actually quite a big driver for Brabham's chances for the constructors, he finished 4th.
Wow. Okay.
That's
and so with
Silverstone was quite interesting race because it opened up potential drivers to see for the future. Because one of the fast guys have retired. I think we definitely saw a lot of battles from Silverstone, and we can see that these drivers are completely capable of racing towards one another, especially harder racing compared to what we have seen before. So yeah,
certainly. And with
just before we go off, we don't have the coverage up because is official practice underway yet? I'm pretty sure it is.
It is.
Isn't it?
We have
so official practice is underway.
Okay.
I'm already broadcasting the practice on the side.
Yes, and you can just see some of the live broadcast on the top left of your screen there.
On the top left.
Where can I see the live broadcast?
It's on YouTube. Actually.
Head to the YouTube channel.
Okay. It is, but how are we gonna? Sorry. I guess we can discuss it later.
And I think one final thing before we head off. Got about 3-ish minutes left. No, sorry, about 5 minutes, give or take. Predictions. What do you think is gonna occur for this race?
Alessio, definitely.
It's Imola. I think I've raced with Ballista at Imola in an F1 car. I think it was an RSS F1 car. He is very good at this track. So he's not just F1. He was very good here with GT cars. This is a very Ballista track. So yeah, I think if anyone's gonna have a chance, I guess Alessio is gonna be Ballista this weekend, and I think it's gonna be hard to put my money against him, but I think I would go with Ballista. I think he's gonna get one up this week.
I have one more thing to
Kendrick,
add.
what do you think?
Aside from Alessio being his home track, I won't rule out Scooby
he's cut
too.
out.
I won't.
Cut out.
Oh my god.
And he's back.
Is he back? There we go.
There we go.
Sorry. Okay, sorry. I'm going to continue even if I cut out.
And he's cut out again.
I think that's a sign for us to take a break.
I'm pretty sure
well, Kendrick's on a few sheets technical issue. I'll give my prediction. I reckon Alessio's going to win race 1. It's the Imola is very dependent on your qualifying prediction, just because it's very difficult to overtake on this track besides maybe turn 1.
I'd argue the chicane on the back straight also pretty good overtaking spot.
It's a pretty decent over spot, but the issue is though is that if you try to go on the inside there, then you're gonna face being squeezed on the outside, and that outside part is just there's no traction, just period.
Yeah, I think
so
Imola. I think Imola personally. I think the first sector, the first few braking points are the only major overtaking spot.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me now?
So for race 1, I say Alessio is going to take this win. He's going to get pole as well. But for race 2, it's going to be really difficult to say. I reckon we may see a Yakitori car take the win. Off stream now. Oh, no, we're back.
Mic check.
Are we good?
Yeah.
Hello?
Nope, we're still getting technical difficulties, Kenjake, unfortunately.
Oh my god, hello?
Bruh.
Hello, hello, hello?
But, I think for race 2, we might see someone who we're not expecting to take a victory
Yeah.
under normal circumstances take one.
I think first of all it's very difficult to overtake. Imola that's going to play a big role, and second of all, I don't want incidents, but I think race 2 is going to have quite a few incidents with how difficult it is to overtake, especially a platform.
Mic check, mic check, mic check, mic check. Hello? Hello? Mic check? Hello?
Yes.
Hello, 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 hello. Mic check, mic check. Mic check, mic check. Hello, hello, hello. Hello? Hello, hello.
Oh,
There we go. I think we're back.
yeah, we're back.
You back, Kenjake?
I don't know.
That's a
guess.
no.
Discord
It's annoying.
is
It's
annoying.
picking up. There we go.
And he's back. Switch to data, man.
Discord is annoying.
Bruh.
But the stream can hear me perfectly.
Well, hopefully with the mic issues hopefully being sorted out soon on Kenjake's end. We will be going to a break in just a moment's time. When we come back, we will be going towards our race broadcast. So stick around, we'll be back in a moment.
Mhm.
Mic check, mic check. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, 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 hello.
Back? We good, Kenjake?
Yeah, it's just Discord that's disconnecting.
And he's cut out again.
I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, it is.
Well, we'll head to break and hopefully in the meantime
fixed then.
Kenjake fixes the issue that we have.
Alright, let's take a break then. Be right back.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Did you change the
Yes.
Did you change the output? Oh, sometimes it's just a quick fix like that, you know. Nice. Are we on broadcast now or no? Can anyone hear us? So they can't hear us. Oh.
There's simply nothing like it. That heart in your mouth, adrenaline through your veins type feeling. The most dramatic of highs and the most crushing of lows. All to the choir of man and machine pushed to its limit. This is action. This is emotion. This is Artito Racing Formula 3. And 6 red lights, and away we go! You can see a big crash going up.
to Rouge.
The first time he'll go for a move on the inside, and Melissa has the late braking, but he won't have the inside line capacity to Sato. What a great move. He'll go towards the inside as well.
Oh, Rory!
The secret assassin, the Iron Will Jamaican.
Last move.
So he's gonna go. Miko sits right, Raj goes left.
Nico goes
Last
defensive.
late breakers here, and Raj
Oh,
is able
does he
to
stick?
make it
Does
on
he
the
make
second
it
to last
stick?
corner.
He made it stick!
At the 18-corner circuit, 8 to the right and 10 to the left, named after the founder of Ferrari himself, Artito Racing Formula 3 takes the Autodromo Internazionale Enzo Didino Ferrari for the San Remo Grand Prix in Imola. Welcome everyone to round 3 of the Artito Racing Formula 3 Grand Prix Championship, here off the coast of mainland Italy in San Remo. I'm Kendrick Garlic, and joining me in the commentary box as usual is Kendrick and our special guest of the race director, Flying Saiyan. And Kendrick, I'll start with you. This race has been hotly anticipated by some of our drivers today.
Oh, yeah. Pretty much, Imola is an underrated track, especially for the Italian Grand Prix. It might not be the, what would you call it? What would they call Monza? Forgot the terminology for Monza, for what they refer to it as. Is it like
Temple of Speed?
Yeah, the Temple of Speed. Yeah, it might not be the Temple
Yeah.
of Speed, but it is one of the older tracks in the Formula One calendar, and as well as any other race tracks that we are used to seeing nowadays. It still produces great racing because of its older nature of the track.
And Flying Saiyan, of course, with round 3 starting to begin, the championship is starting to shape up quite nicely between the drivers.
Mr. Flying Sane, and he's still muted. Don't worry.
He is absent. Awesome. So we'll ask him about that a bit later. But with this race will kick off. Within the hour. Hopefully by then we'll have Flying Saiyan join us. Currently we have 23 minutes of practice left. After practice, we're going to a 15-minute qualifying session that will set the grid for the first of 2 14-lap races. The second race will consist of a full reverse grid, and will be based on the finish of the first race, forcing the fastest drivers to fight from the back and keep the nose clean as they make their way through the pack and score as many points as possible at round 3 here. Drivers would access to 3 tyre compounds, the soft, medium and hard, with the medium set to be the race tyre for this race, and the soft maybe being used in qualifying, we'll yet to see. Drivers will also have to make a fuel stop to make it to the end, bringing strategy into the fray to determine the finishing results. So with all that said, sit back, get comfy, and get ready. This is round 3 of Artito Racing Formula 3 here at Imola.
So,
And already we are starting to have some of the drivers join the server. We have Piper, we have Sendra joining as well, thankfully. We were unsure as whether he was going to be joining us at the race today. We have G, who's also logged in, so hope to be able to see some action from him.
one thing
Kenji?
about Imola is it's very it's quite different. It's a very
Sure, it is a very different circuit in the fact that there's a lot more focus on lateral continual grip on the car, where there's a mix. Of course, you have the driver skill, obviously, as it comes with any track. But with Imola specifically, you have to rely a lot on the downforce as well as having the straight line speed through the straight at the through the to be almost a one. Oh, Kendrick?
Hello?
Hello. Hi. Yes. Are we getting more technical difficulties at the moment, or?
No, it's alright. I just saw I just saw Sato collide to the wall.
Nope, you seem to be lagging as well, unfortunately. It seems as though more technical difficulties that we had in the pre-race, unfortunately. Still carrying over today with Kenjik.
Hello?
But at least we're having a bit of a smooth stream as Flying Sand finally joining us.
Rather have all the problems now.
True. While we're having that problem, I'll ask you this with round 3 kicking off here at Imola. Of course, we're starting to see the championships start to shape up a little bit.
Good way to put it.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, I was about to comment about Sato hitting the wall very hard.
Unfortunately I did not see that. Gosh. Well, hopefully that'll, as Flying Sand was saying, stay in the earlier stages of today's proceedings and not later during the race itself. But you can see the Yakutori driver there. He, on the board, it says he set the fastest lap. That isn't strictly correct. Currently, Miko has the fastest lap, over 131 dead. That is then followed by Scoop with 131.2, and then Sato with a 131.386 you see on your screen. But he is still certainly setting quite a pace here, leading the way for the 2 Yakutori cars. You see he takes the dirt there a little bit. It's probably not very advantageous at the time, but nonetheless. Currently, Ballista is 8th officially on the rank. On the board there it says 6th, but unfortunately that is incorrect. We see Raj actually just set a new fastest lap. That puts him to 2nd on the board. In actuality, is 4th. Hopefully, we get the technical difficulties out the way, both on the commentators and as well as the visual aspects. But usually, given time, these things sort of sort themselves out. But today, we're expecting to see quite the sizable grid, honestly. I believe we have 19 drivers expected.
I believe
You guys-
we have more than that.
Oh, more.
Yeah. How many grid slots are available?
22?
24, right?
I believe so. So we'll have 22
for the
slots
drivers,
for the drivers.
plus 2 for
Yeah.
us.
Because we need to be
Wow.
able to commentate.
That is
Oh, by the
what
way, guys,
turnout.
have you seen the visuals of our camera now? I've actually used the Sky PP filter.
It's
which
looking a lot
is-
better.
Yeah, it looks really clean.
It looks really awesome.
Yeah.
It looks more realistic
And
than
it's-
before.
It's gonna definitely help with incidents on lap 1 commentate because you can see and understand the action a lot closer. So
It's
I
much
think
more
this
clear,
is
and
great.
the lighting is really nice.
Yeah, it is very nice.
Watching.
Sato is pushing quite a bit.
Yeah. We've seen plenty
Say.
of mistakes from Sato lately on this practice session.
Sato pushing
Yeah,
the
I
car
think
a little too
I
far.
think Sato being the veteran here is probably just testing out the waters now in practice rather than qualifying.
Oh, and by
Yeah.
the way, I've
See,
returned
that's
the old HUD for the speedometer.
I
It was
love
driver's
that.
favorite.
I love that name. I
Fair
love
enough.
that name. Is that a new team?
Mumbai
Is that-
Falcons.
No,
No, that was
Is that?
Was it? No, I don't think it is.
no.
Uh,
I think that was
okay.
the skin name that Raj gave to his skin, but officially that's not a new team.
I was wondering. I was like, me being the racetracker should know if there's a new team entering. But regardless, I think slowly, looking at Ballista and where he is in the pack, I think he's focusing more on the race. Definitely, if that's what the case. So
Interesting.
I don't think Ballista sandbags as much as you guys think. I just think he focuses a lot more on the race. Do you guys think that may be a fair assessment? Maybe.
Maybe. I reckon during the practice sessions, at the very least, he focuses more on the race pace.
Hmm.
Maybe with like heavier fuel or something like that, or just maybe testing the waters a bit, not quite attempting to string a lap together and wait until qualifying to do that. But
Maybe.
I don't know, it'll be interesting to see. And we are following TJ Dragon. I think this is his first race, I want to say, in the season so far. I can't quite recall if he's raced yet. I
Anyway,
should double check on that, honestly.
I'm gonna head off to the Formula chat. See you guys later.
Fair enough, we shall hear from you in a moment.
Yep.
Try to figure out whether TJ Dragon is actually racing this season so far. But he is the only Brunelli, I think it is, or Brunei, which is a small province within the Southeast Asia sort of assortment of island. I think it's bordering Malaysia, I want to say. But he is the only Brunei driver in the league, actually, and he is currently sitting in P10. So pretty good showing from him. Having a couple more drivers joining the session at the moment. Tobe is of one particular. Of course, as we said in the pre-race, he's going to be the only Kamekame car driving here at Imola for round 3, and then he'll be taking his leave for round 4 and 5, unfortunately. But we will hopefully be able to see more of him in the latter rounds. And Kamekame are doing quite well for themselves, actually, in P2 in the Constructors. And Raven, of course, she isn't here, unfortunately. But she has been doing well for herself in P5.
You know, I'm wondering if the statue of Ayrton Senna is in Tamburello.
That's actually a good question. Might be.
Yeah, well, I think we'll go
Because
see it
it's
right
around
now.
there, I think, officially.
It would be damn nice if it was modeled.
That would be nice.
It's supposed to be here somewhere, right? Oh my god,
Yeah.
someone just went off.
Oh! Oh, the server
Wow,
was
though.
restarted. The server restarted.
Oh.
So that'd be why.
I think. Hold on. Let me just find it. It's here somewhere, right?
It's of importance.
Okay, so we're going to reconnect once again to rejoin the races.
And I think we're also having driver's brief in a moment as well. So we might head into towards the chat now for that.
Alright, let's move over there. Hello guys. You are
Okay.
now live. At the moment you are live.
Hallelujah. Attendance. Who's been a naughty boy?
Alright, let me just repeat guys, you are now live over to YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah, I think for first index. GCS
Unfortunately, Tom, I won't be joining you this race. So you're on your own.
Raj is.
Good luck.
Oh, Raj is here. Sorry. Yeah. Sato is here. Pinto. Is it? Yeah. Okay, so roll a
Sandra gone.
series. Yeah. That's your series. Alexis.
Quick question. Why am I use Gutsy car?
Oh, he's here
I-
now.
I think I got the wrong skin while Sandra
Yeah.
had my skin.
I guess you'll be racing for them now.
So we've got 4 drivers who've not joined the voice chat yet. Let's just give them a few more minutes.
Alexis isn't a registered driver.
Is he not?
No.
Drivers?
But yeah, Scoop's correct. Sandra's got his skin.
Right, yeah, so it's just
Yeah.
Alessio and Andre Pinto.
Sandra, if it's possible, could you try doing a disconnect just to see if that'll fix the skin imbalance?
What is that?
It
to reconnect.
appears that you have Scoop's skin for some reason. So, if possible, could you just quickly disconnect and reconnect? Just to see if that'll fix it.
What? I can't hear anything. 1 second.
Nope.
And Discord is bugging out recently.
Give it one more minute and if they still don't join, we'll still go ahead and breathe because I've got a bit to cover.
Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. Hello. Mic check. Mic check. Hello.
Mention that again.
Yes, the corner after the hairpin going up the hill, and it's a fast left-hander.
Is it? Can you tell me which sector it is?
Yeah.
I think after the Tosa left hairpin and then the Piratella corner before the
Yeah,
Aqua Minerale.
Yes, before the fast right-hander, and then that death chicane.
Scooby.
Are you talking
I
about
get.
Piratella? No?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Turn
I
on.
think.
Okay. I get which corner. The exit. Yep. Okay. From memory, okay, I'll cover that when we get to the track limits part. But anyways, I'm gonna start the brief. So hey guys, welcome for race round 3, F3. Again, good to see a great turnout. Always is. So thanks for joining. Safe to say the last race wasn't the cleanest. A lot of incidents again. I think a lot of people had issues with track limits, which we'll get onto again really quickly. The first thing, obviously, is we've got a new rule book. So if you want any clarification with regards to dive bombs, defending, whatever, like weaving, stuff like that, penalties, it's all there. And it's important to note that, guys, it's difficult. Even the FIA, as a professional organization, even they can't cover every scenario. So obviously, the rule book's as generic as possible. It's not going to be possible to cover every scenario, so it'll be updated on the go, but you get a good general gist of our rules, especially with regards to wheel-to-wheel and penalties. So all that stuff's there. We also now have got penalty points, and I think Scooby and Lake Bun are the only 2 drivers here with penalty points. Penalty points, long story short, you get 8 points on your license, you'll get a race ban. Trust me, you're gonna have to try really hard to get 8 points. I'm not gonna penalize every incident there and give it penalty points. Penalty points will strictly be reserved for only major incidents, like sadly Legs once was last week, where he rejoined back on the racing line. That's a major incident. Or number 2, whereas in Scooby's case, I personally didn't feel a penalty was necessary, but it still had to be penalized. I'll probably add a point or 2 to your license, probably with just 1. 2 points is quite a big incident. So, yeah, it's just a way of trying to make sure that you guys are penalized if something does happen. When a post-race penalty isn't necessary. So we've got penalty points to cover. A lot of you. I don't think anyone really brought this up, but I feel like the DRS penalties we had of 5 seconds was a bit out of hand. If you just inadvertently press it once and close it straight away, I felt like 5 seconds was a bit of an overkill, so I've changed that to 3 seconds. If you look at the rules now, you'll see inadvertent DRS is going to be 3 seconds instead of 5. However, if you open it and keep it open, might think about increasing the penalty there. With regards to track limits, a lot of people, I think the first two races, first Hockenheim and then Silverstone, there were a lot of issues with track limits. Now the rules have clearly got, like, we've got proper rules now. Like I said, that's why the results thing that came out last weekend was auditing, trying to ensure that all bases were covered. So with regards to rules, it's all there now. With regards to what gaining a lasting advantage means, stuff like that, it's all covered there now. So I think, like, Gordon, was it Gordon? Yeah, Gordon brought up something about turn 9, Pirotella. I don't know. I've driven this track quite a bit on the RSS Formula Hybrid. I feel like if you run wide there, you lose these in those cars. Does anyone else think you can gain time at that corner if you extend it on the exit?
It's quite tricky since if you go wider from the green apex, you will lose some grip at it. But
Yes,
exactly. But at some reason, if you can stay in the red apex, going straight forward and then steer your wheel to the left, you will gain some. You will gain some time.
So come again. Repeat that last bit again. Repeat that last bit again.
If you go into the red apex, straight to the red apex, stay the left wheel into the red apex, going straight, and then
this is on the. I'm just trying to visualize it. So this is on the exit, correct? Exit of the corner.
Yeah, exit while you going in, and then your car was just straight into the red apex and the right side in the green. Sometimes you gain a little bit of time because there's no spin around your car.
And
but it's quite tricky because it's just a momentum. I can't do it every lap, so it just maybe for first time, second time, not quite adding the time too much. So I think it should be okay, since if you wide enough, you will lose sometimes.
Lose time. I think so. Yeah, I think personally, I've raced GT there as well. I think you lose time by extending that corner. That red curve you mentioned, is that part of the track or not really?
It's still in the white line, but sometimes you go over the white lines and you're still in the red apex.
And that's all 4 wheels, yeah.
Yeah. But sometimes you gain a little bit time, but it's quite difficult to have that.
It's going to be, I think it's going to be very difficult for these. I think personally, I want to keep the rules as uniform as possible, like where an extension will be a penalty, but I feel like I think it'll be more of a hassle for us to try and police that. I really think it will. It's not as bad as, let's say, Cops at Silverstone or Turn 1 at Hockenheim. I don't think it would be that bad at that corner if extended.
I agree. And
I think if you extend it,
I think there's one corner again at Aqua Mineral exit. There's there's some pointing curve after the exit. That's not maybe increased our while you touch it, you won't be gain enough time. I mean, it's gonna be lose time. Still the same section like Piratella, you will lose traction.
You lose time. I think Assetto Corsa tracks generally have done quite a good job of penalizing you if you go off. The only exception to that is Cops at Silverstone, the cleaners tracks. So yeah, I think personally, if you run wide at those tracks, at those corners, you will probably lose ground. But we'll see in the race. Look, if I see in the race where I feel like going wide, you're gaining an advantage, and the reflect on your lap times, then I'll bring it up with the stewards along with myself to try and figure out. But I think you'll lose time. But I think, yeah, thanks for the input. So with regards to track limits, try and stay within the track. But I feel like those two hotspots, if you do go wide, it'll probably penalize you anyway. So yeah. And you're going to have to try incredibly precise. You're going to have to drive incredibly precisely to gain advantage there, like Scoop said, where you put a wheel on the red curve. You're going to have to drive very precisely. I don't think I think it's great. It's going to be hard to do everything. So, is there anything else I want to cover? Race specific, I think Imola is quite a narrow track. I think it's got quite a few narrow tracks, but I feel like Imola is very, very narrow. So, please be careful at lap 1. Especially going into turn 1. I think race 2 will be quite chaotic at lap 1 as well, with a lot of the faster drivers potentially starting at the back. So yeah, just try and keep it clean. And yeah, pretty much it. Look, don't force an overtake. I will say it now. I know that some people will try to force overtakes, and I'm not going to stop that. But please be decisive with your overtakes. Like, it's very difficult to overtake at Imola. Turn 1's a good spot. The Aqua Minerali chicane's probably a good spot. Some of the, I'd say the whole of the first sector, all the braking points are good spots. But yeah, once you're going up the hill, like turn 9, which, like we discussed, what the track limits problem is. Yeah, I think those are all very one lines, and please don't try and force an overtake unless you've got an insane pace. That's pretty much it. So, any questions? Because we're going to start quali soon. Yes.
I'll clear.
5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. All right. Good luck in the race. And if any of you want to post-race debrief, please feel free to join. But yeah, enjoy the race.
Good luck, Tom.
Yeah.
You'll be racing on your own.
Yeah, thanks. I need it.
Right, we're heading over to the broadcast channel again.
Alright,
Okay.
so it was a very brief.
Right, the race brief is now over. We'll be heading over to the live view of the race.
And it seems as though that during the process, there seems to be a technical issue where Sendra has somehow gotten Scoob's livery in the process of the server being restart. And he doesn't seem to be wanting to leave, so we can try and fix it. So hopefully once practice ends, which practice is ending in a matter of seconds, hopefully we'll be able to fix that and all the liveries will be in the appropriate spots. But in the meantime, if you see the number 33 Red Bull livery, that Sendra, at least in the meantime, and then Scoob has somehow ended up, he's not on the server quite yet, but he somehow ended up with the Brabham Racing livery. So hopefully things will be fixed in the meantime, but if not, then we'll just have to deal with it.
Yeah,
Is,
hold on while I'm still
Waiting
returning.
for the coverage to load up. Yep.
Alright. Practice has ended officially, so check if flag is out.
Unless Siri hasn't joined yet.
No, he hasn't.
Oh, he's been popping in and out, so probably technical issues with his connection.
Oh
Considering
no, he's
his-
on.
Is he on?
Yeah, he's on the server.
And he didn't join. Pre-race brief. Ooh, naughty.
No, it doesn't seem as though Sendra's doing disconnect and rejoin, so that might be stuck, unfortunately.
So hello once again, guys. I finally sorted out my audio.
There we go.
Hey, let's go. We've not done a lap guide yet. We'll do it in qualifying, I guess.
Yep.
Just
First
set up
one,
viewers for the
first
track
one
start.
to go out, I guess we'll do.
I love this track. I really feel like Imola is a proper host where you don't have these insane runoffs. If you make a mistake, you're in the gravel. You're losing time.
Yeah, that's the whole gist of the older tracks. We
Yeah,
don't have runoffs.
is.
We have gravel traps.
Yeah. I think that's why having gravel on a lot of tracks, for example, Silverstone Cops, like they used to have gravel back in the day on the exit. I think we need to go back to gravels on a lot of tracks. It stops drivers. A, if there's an incident, the gravel helps slow you down, and B, it doesn't encourage extending track limits. It makes track limits, monitoring track limits, significantly easier for the drivers and for for the stewards.
Yeah,
What do you guys think?
I think Spa has gone the right way towards revising the track.
Spa had to do that though. Spa's hand got forced when motorcycles decided to go to Spa again.
Yeah,
But
yeah, I think it's the right track to go to.
definitely.
It's definitely the right move to make the tracks more punishing towards the drivers who
on the
succeed.
racetrack. I should know this. Are we going to Spa?
I think we
Yes,
should
we
have
have
Spa
Spa.
2022 for the next.
Yeah, we actually maybe should. Yeah.
We should. It's a definitely.
So here we see Sendra fastest with a 4-minute 5.829. Incredible pace. I mean, if this was a Nordschleife, that would be an insane lap time.
Especially with the 4-minute
but it's
3
not the
cars, that's so
Nordschleife.
respectable.
Exactly. But it's not Nordschleife. But here we go. Practice is ended and qualifying is underway.
And we have qualifying on the tower, so yeah, that's definitely nice.
I don't see Alessio Siri. Or Ballista. Looking at the coverage.
So
No,
Sato is the
Alessio
first
and
guy to
Tsunoda.
I
move
see
out.
Ballista. Let's go on board with the Japanese driver, shall we? Get ready for a bit of a hot lap. I'm not going to go commentate it now, but just see if you guys get a feel of what the track is. As we see the Yakitori driver, currently third in the championship, 6 points behind his teammate. And I think just a point or two behind Alessio Siri. And Sato definitely has a chance, as we see Siri's finally joined the session. Alessio, correction, who plays Sato, definitely has a chance at this championship. And I think this guy deserves a championship at some point. He is incredibly fast, aggressive, and I think this season, maybe, just maybe, might be the season.
Possibly. But we
I
don't
don't wanna
quite
jinx
see
it
it on
for
the
him.
screen though.
Let's just say, if this guy manages to pull out the stops and beat Alessio Siri and Ballista over a season, he will have done incredibly well. So, as we see Sato now, about to start a hot lap, and he's probably getting his tyres ready. We've got one final corner to get before he starts the hot lap. It's a season 2 left numbers, wide exit, and begin his lap. So, here we go, down the main straight, building speed as we see 200 kilometers per hour in excess of as we head into turn 1. You want to try and shortline this corner as much as possible, and then he'll head over to the left hand side, slowly bring it to the right hand side. 100 meters is about where you want to brake, third gear into the temple of the chicane, left, right, 50 curbs, and off you go. Try and minimize the scrub as much as possible. And now you go towards turn 2, turn 3, turn 4, incredibly fast. You chuck it into 5th gear, 4th, bring the car around, and as you see, he's gone a bit wide there. Let's hopefully he can keep going. And then you bring it over to the right-hand side at the 50-meter board is when you want to start to brake. The corner kind of squares off, so you want to have a bit of a wider line there. You don't want to go for the absolute apex. And then now you go into turn 9. Incredibly quick, left-hander. Try and be careful not to extend that corner. And I love this corner. You go downhill into a double apex right-hander. You want to make sure that you put this apex and then go to the left-hand side. Then go back to the right and then try and minimize the scrub as much as possible into the Minerali. This chicane. Try and use as much curve as possible. Don't use too much curve, or you might actually spin off into the wall, as Charles showed in the real life Grand Prix a few months ago. Now you're just getting ready for the final 2 corners with the butts. Bring it over to the right hand side, 100-meter board. You start braking, bring it down to the 2nd gear, take the car to the outside, and this corner here, the last corner, all about the exit. It's a long run down to the line. That is a lap of Imola.
So the commentary there.
Now.
See the time from Sato in a second. Setting the benchmark, 132.8.
Raj with the 131.4.
say that-
Here comes the benchmark times.
So
Yeah,
it's the
I
fastest,
think
times.
I don't think Sato's lap time was represented. Let's not forget he ran wide.
He made an error at
Yeah.
Villeneuve.
Villeneuve, yeah.
So probably going through again there. He's made
Once again, yeah. Really
similar error there to Villeneuve.
Yeah, at least
Do you
he's
guys-
not on the grass.
What track do you guys think is the best track? Do you
Spa,
guys think
definitely.
Imola or
Spa.
Monza, or do you think Mugello?
Mugello.
Mugello is
Nah, I'd
more
say
suited
Spa.
for GT cars. Spa is the best
Ah,
overall.
I'd say in Italy. In Italy.
Oh, in
Oh,
Italy.
in Italy, Monza definitely.
I'd say Imola, honestly.
Monza.
Yeah, I think Imola's reputation is quite
So we stuck on
negative after
speech on the
1994. 1994, after F1 went there with the passing of Senna and Ratzenberg. But I think if it wasn't for that, Imola would definitely have a lot more success. But it's great to see Imola back on the calendar
yeah,
again.
exactly.
So, Antushi Sato now still going on another hot lap. He's trying to push on. Hopefully, he can improve on his pace for his sake. As he rounds off the final corner, one that I wanted to make on the hot lap is you want to try and minimize the scrub and try and stay as close to the pit wall as possible on the run up to the line. Fractions of a second this season will make a difference as we see
Second
Sato now
fastest.
just under a 10th behind Ryan with a 31.
And that's with an error as well.
Did he have an error that lap?
Yeah, he has.
Yeah, through Villeneuve
wow.
again. And so I don't think we've quite seen the the higher pace that we see Miko on the screen
Let's
now. He's a new livery.
let's go on board with the home hero, shall we? Alessio Siri. Let's see what he's up to.
Yeah, I don't think we've quite
There he
seen
is.
the extent of the pace yet for the drivers yet. We were seeing
He's gonna have a
like even
bit
in the
of traffic.
30s for the drivers. So I reckon we're still going to see some faster times yet as we have a better.
Oh yeah.
Holly.
What was the fastest lap on the server before we started?
A
I wanna say a 30.
131.1.
Yeah,
Yeah, wow.
so I reckon we could go into the 30s quite yet.
Definitely.
39
Definitely,
or
yes.
38. Alessio Siri and Melissa are probably the two drivers that we'll probably see from that.
Would be nice to have sector times to see how they go along. See
No.
now. Into the last two corners. Try and use the track as much as possible on the exit. Oh, bit of understeer there, as we can see, and now the line trying to minimize the scrub. Hold the car as tight as possible towards the pit lane line. And we see Alessio Siri across the line. Wow!
130.6.
Wow.
He is
Wow!
blistering. He is on
That is-
fire.
You guys are saying 30.8, 30.7. Oh, that's a mid-30s. That's setting the benchmark. And let's go on board with his championship rival now, shall we? See what he's up to. That is insane as we go on board with Ballista, heading towards the final two corners. It's going to be very interesting to see what sort of pace he has. Siri's got at least half a tenth to a tenth more in that lap. He missed the last corner quite a bit there.
We need to see how the Japanese
As we see
drivers
Ballista, the defending series champion, the championship leader, across the line. What sort of pace has he got? 30.6
Oh.
against, wow!
can't match the Italian.
Wow!
Here's the thing though.
That-
A comment
that
about
is-
a comment about Imola. 132 is already decent enough if you're an average driver. And 130, well,
Yes, it is.
a 132 already is very difficult to make. But seeing 130 from Siri and 131 from Ballista, Raj, and Sato
First lap.
is
First
wow.
lap.
It's pretty amazing what
As
they can
Raj
do.
goes on track for his first lap, letting G by. He'll be going for a second lap. Currently in fourth, as Scoob takes third of 130.3, which is actually really close. I think it's 700ths of a second behind Ballista.
It's amazing what these drivers can do.
Yeah, incredible.
That is.
And
I am still shell shocked at that lap time.
Yeah, it's,
Look at the gap
it's the first
at
time
the
I've ever
gap
saw
he has
130 in
to the
Imola.
rest of the field.
so interesting tidbit there for you. That lap that we saw from Alessio is only the second fastest lap that we've actually seen on the track. The fastest lap has been set by Ballista, and I believe it was a 130.4, I want to say, or 130.2.
Wow. So we know
Yeah.
that Ballista can definitely take it away from Siri.
But
Yes.
doing it in a pressure scenario is going to be a completely different thing.
Oh yeah,
Well,
especially now.
we know Ballista has a tendency to save his best for last, so I reckon a bit of a wait and see. We've still got 7 minutes left.
Now, as we can see though, heading away from the top two, Scooby's done quite well. To be best of the rest, Raj is up there. It's going to be a good battle for P3 this weekend, I reckon, as well. Especially in the first race. You've got Scooby, Sato, Raj, and hell, you could throw in Nico and G in there as well. Any one of those can be in the final third spot to be best of the rest.
Certainly going to be interesting battle.
As we see Tob still a bit off the pace down in P12. I don't know if he's got a hot lap in yet. Rohe, the Jamaican himself, who truly had a win denied at Silverstone. I tried my best, guys, for all you Rohe fans. I tried my best to reinstate that win. But yeah, Rohe down there in P4. I'm pretty sure he's got lap time incoming.
I think Ballista
And as
again
we
is
see,
setting up for another
Ballista,
hot
let's
lap.
Seems
let's
as much.
see what the defending series champion, the 3-time Artito champions, got up in store for here in round 3 of Formula 3.
US wide open for the Japanese driver. Will we see a time yet? Will we be starting a hot lap?
No,
I think he's just starting a hot
starting
lap.
out the hub. Yeah.
So as we see
there
going
you
him into turn 1,
Alright.
let's see where he breaks. He's probably going to break about the 100 meters. Leaves a bit of time there on the entry, trying to avoid that edge of the track and trying to avoid the grass. As he now goes.
Oh my goodness me!
What?
As we see Ballista's lap, Siri has fired into the 130, and surely as Ballista sees that pop up, you can see him run wide. He knows the pressure is on. That is insane!
Fastest lap ever.
130.
Wow.
That is the fastest lap ever on the server. 130.0, and now the pressure is really on the defending series champion. As you see him
It
go
goes
to turn
wide
right,
at
he's gone
Piratella.
right there. He's lost time. He's gonna keep going, but I'll be surprised if this happens within the 1 minute 30s, because wow, and he's gone wide there again. I think that corner you can get away with extending. I think from memory. So let's
Turn
just see,
13.
monitor that during the race, obviously. But as we see Ballista traveling along into the last 2 corners, he's probably gonna have 1, maybe 2 more chances at this pole position. But 130.2. Let's see what the defending series champion's got as he heads to the final corner. The Yakitori Racing driver seems like a bit of a drift off the far corners, but the DRS wide open as he heads across the line. Is he going to improve? The start finish line here is well down the track. He gets it within half a second. If he can I think he can get close. I think he saw a lot of errors that lap, a lot of running wide. I think he can get close. It's going to be a matter of if he can get back out there on time, which I think he will, and second of all, if he can get a clean lap and not have any traffic. I think those are the 2 main factors which are going to determine if he's going to get close on the series or not.
This is quite confusing.
Yes, it is a bit confusing.
Yeah, he's still using
I
the
was
Brown
going to
livery.
mention that. Unfortunately, we had some technical difficulties, so Scoob is running Dusty's
Apparently
livery
it's
for the
Aussie
moment.
now.
This is
Apparently so.
this is the equivalent of Lewis Hamilton probably driving for Red Bull Racing.
Yeah, that's definitely
This
gonna
is-
scratch some heads.
That's gonna throw me off during commentary in the
To
race
make
later
it worse,
on.
Sendra's running Scoob skin.
Really? Let me see that. Oh my god.
Oh dear lord! So guys,
Oh, God.
this is what. So if Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton ever did a seat swap, this is probably what it would look like.
Yeah.
A
It's a
secret
bit strange.
sweet seat swap.
But as Ballista's setting another pass.
Can we please go see what Ballista's up to? Because this is gonna be. If he can get this pole position out of the bag, this will be a champion's qualifying performance.
And I was gonna mention beforehand previous lap that Ballista said he improved in all 3 sectors.
Oh
There
my
isn't
God.
exactly one sector that he's losing out on at the moment.
And I think
Which is a
I
general
think
thing.
it's just all over the track. And I think as a race car driver, that is probably
No,
the
that's
most.
gonna be abandoned.
No, but I think he's on an outlap. He went in the pit. But I think as a race car driver, that is the most demoralizing thing you can see, where you're down in every sector. If you just see you're down in sector 1 or sector 3, or you just in any sector, you know that you can probably get that sector hooked up. But when you can see you're losing time across all of the lap, that's the worst thing you can have. So, as we now see Ballista getting ready for a hot lap, and I
Backing up
think
for
this-
open air.
he might get 2 shots at this, depending how much he's picking up. But as we go to Ravsa 2, and as we see
That's
Scooby
good,
now
good.
go up in the second, pressure's on for Ballista, try and deliver this lap as he heads down.
130.810 there from Scoob, so he's only 5 100ths a second faster from Ballista there as he heads into Tamburello for the first time.
Yeah, as you see he heads into Variant Del Tamburello.
Oh god.
Oh,
It's not looking good for
oh.
Ballista right now.
He's
And-
gonna have time. Oh, is he abandoning? He's abandoning altogether.
He's abandoning, and he won't
He's
have enough
not-
time to get
he-
back.
Yeah, he went. Wow.
So-
I've never seen Ballista under pressure this much. We've seen him under pressure before, but that was
Yeah, this
Crazy.
is something else. It's really
This is
getting
the-
up to him.
the first corner. He's gone
And
wide.
with that, Ballista's only set a time of 130.866,
Not-
good enough for third at
He's
the
not
moment.
gonna be even on the front row.
No.
No.
Wow.
Unfortunately. But I think it's
And,
good enough
Alessio-
to make him in third place.
And I believe Alessio is about to set another time as well. I think he's got a first and third sector here, so we might see an improvement in the time.
Let's go on board with the
No, we
Italian,
don't,
shall we?
unfortunately.
Okay.
But he's starting his final hot lap at the moment from the Italian driver. So we might be able to jump on it. The Sato is the Ballista's teammate for Yakitori Racing. I wonder if he'll be able to top Ballista here. So going through Tamburello now.
So, Gambate Sato, it's all up to you now.
Yep, all up to Sato, the pride of Japan and of Yakitori branding.
Yep.
All relying on Freeplay Sato at the moment, heading into Tosa now, or Tossa as the Top Gear guys seem to call it.
I love that
go-
episode.
Going into, I believe, turn 9 for Piratella. Sato using not quite all of the width of the track there, so he's probably left a little bit of time on the.
Yeah, if you dip even 2 kilos in that, you start losing. But this is the corner I'm worried about. Cutting in this case, so.
Yeah, through the
Yeah.
Ultra Chicane here.
I think
And
it's
been
gonna
quite
run.
nice and tidy. Oh, he's gone wide
Oh.
there, unfortunately.
And he's gonna lose time there actually as well. So let's see what the Japanese driver driving for the Japanese team. So can he battle the feathers in his championship winning teammate and get up to third and make Ballista's Day a whole lot less than hard?
Right. At the
Togo
moment,
heads
he's
faster.
going to be starting out his hot lap.
Is he?
Whenever the
starting
time.
out now? He's
No,
not
he-
starting yet.
he's
I
He's
see
starting.
something molested.
Is he starting or is he?
Yeah, he's
No.
just starting. He's just
Oh.
starting.
So Sato, that wasn't a lap time. Wow.
He's just
I
starting.
think he'll have enough time.
Looking down the grid, the Island Jamaican with P11 and top the Seoul Kamikami car in 10th. So
Pretty good showing there from Toy. Bolton.
QB, in terms of-
Lake Bun, G, Miko, Raj.
Oh,
and
Raj
then,
might impede Sato here.
I don't think the lap time will count. He started with.
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh, Raj has now impeded Sato for this hot lap.
I don't think that will count, honestly. Even if he was
I
going to.
yeah, I think the session was over anyway. So like personally, even as a racetrack, I probably won't look at that incident.
Fair enough. So I
But-
believe that concludes qualifying. So
Yes.
Alessio
It
in
does.
P1.
Blistering pace from Siri.
Wow.
A 130.2, remind you.
But guys, I let's not forget Scooby on the controller to be half a second within the series. Is very impressive. From
Yep.
Scooby.
P2 is Scoob with 130.8, so he'll run off the front row. In row 2 is a Yakitori lockout with Ballista and Sato in 3rd and 4th respectively. In P5 is Raj, P6 is Miko, P7 is G, which is pretty good showing from the Australian, P8 is Lake Bun, the only Soteria driver today unfortunately, apparently Josh Mitchell was not able to make it. P9 is Sandra in the mistakenly liveried privateer team, apparently he's going to be a subsidiary of Mystery Gang Red Bull Racing today. He starts in P9 at 132.4. P10 is Tobe in his properly liveried car. P11 is Rohei in his also properly liveried car. Then we have TJ Dragon in 12th, Hypel in 13th, and Gordon rounds off the grid in 14th in the only choo-choo racing car as well.
Hold on.
So there's quite a lot of teams missing today,
There's
unfortunately.
something new in the server. We have clouds now.
Oh, we do. So
We do have clouds now.
you can see the
Even
lovely...
the intermediate time.
seeing the lovely weather in the Italian Riviera.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, getting ready to put wet tires on the car. Let's bring up.
It's going to be damp.
It's gonna pour down with rain. As we see, we've just got under a minute for the race. So,
Driver
guys,
sitting onto the grid now.
guys,
That's a lovely view. That's a
guys,
lovely
something
car.
just. I was just gonna say, just seeing a McLaren on pole position in that livery, for all the nostalgic fans like myself, that is great to see.
I think the furthest the Brabham car is probably going to qualify this season, I'll be honest.
Oh.
I mean, Gusty and Mob on a pretty good race pace, but they can't quite get towards the.
Are Brabham gonna get a race win here? I wonder.
I mean, not officially on the points, but you know, visually, they can use that for their marketing department.
There you go. Do your thing.
Here we go, guys. Here we go.
As sick lights start to come on, you can hear those V6s revving for round 3 here at Imola. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 red lights. And it's lights out and away We go. It's a
good
very
start.
good start there from Alessio Siri, the Italian
Rohe
driver,
as well.
immediately making Rohe as well. But the Italian driver immediately making his presence known for his home race here, going into Tamburello for the first time. Seems to be okay for the most part.
Oh! That
as I
was
say that,
huge contact. Tobel is now involved.
Turbo and
Assault
TJ
by the
Draken.
W Racer. Is that one of the...
Sendra there as well getting involved, and I think that is Rohe. So both Rohe and Sendra getting involved in the contact there.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not quite sure what happened there.
Ballista
this
is
is
on the
going
gravel.
This has gone wide. I don't quite know. He drops way down the order.
The stream slowing down a bit. Wow.
Yeah, stream slowing down a bit.
That
unfortunately.
That's not going to help his championship. But Alessio Siri, Scooby's hot in his tails though in P2.
Certainly.
G!
There we
Making
go,
move
there
round
we
the
go.
outside from Piratella.
Outside G!
Miko's around the outside.
track.
On Miko, then on turn into the inside here for Aqua Minerale.
Oh, sorry.
As we head towards me. Back towards the
Oh.
action here.
Someone ran wide. I think Raj ran wide there.
Yeah, Raj and Gordon seem to be tumbling down the order. Not too sure what's happened there. And towards
Wow.
there, Ken. Gordon's in the wall, unfortunately. I think Gordon might be
Oh.
out here.
Scooby needs a good race. After the first
He
few rounds
definitely
he's had.
does.
As we head into
And
the vet
this
the
is
first time.
almost as good a start he could have hoped for. With Ballista, one of his rivals, P6. And I don't think Sata has had the pace this weekend to go with Scooby. He's looking at good points. But let's see, it's just the end of lap 1. As we see Biko, as usual, like I said on top of the show, flying quietly under the radar in the top 5.
Right behind G here. Won't have to US quite yet, but he'll be very much within the detection zone against the Australian driver. So
Also, for all the viewers now wondering, in inverted DRS season, it's now 3 seconds. So, as we now see the battle here, the almighty
Sendra
battle
going for a bit of a
P10.
send.
Almost.
Oh my.
Sendra trying to make a recovery drive, and Rohe saying, not Rohe, sorry, Raj saying they're not going to quite do that yet. So the order will remain the same for the meantime. However, at the front, the battle's starting to
Let's
get a little
see
bit
what-
interesting.
Let's see what Ballista's got for Biko, shall we? Let's see what Ballista's got for Biko. As we see here, Japanese driver in P5. My prediction of Ballista pulling back this championship, this race. That prediction's gone well, so I should not be doing predictions any further just for the sake of the drive. I'm probably to remove from the race director role.
But it seems that the
Predicting
train's starting to form behind G there, with Miko and Ballista not quite able to capitalise on their pace difference.
2 seconds for DRS still, isn't it?
Yes, so we will start to see the DOS start to get involved here, and as I say that, Alessio is rounding the final corner with Vatsa, so Scoop will have the DOS down the main straight. It'll be interesting to see what the difference is between the two drivers. Currently it's about a second difference.
Whoa! What's happening with Ballista? He
Ballista's
slowed down
slowed down.
significantly on the straight.
I'm not entirely sure what's happened there, unfortunately with Ballista, but he's slowed down quite a bit.
Is that a slowdown penalty here? Or must
It probably did, I don't know.
Probably was, but it looks as if Lakebud's going to try and make a move on the Japanese driver here.
But he's backed off there.
He's backed off though.
Bluestone, guys, is going along very well to be within half a second. Let's go on board the Indonesian driver. Because that is actually
Which one?
the closest battle on the track. So Scooby and Peter is actually the closest battle we have on the track right now. So here we are on board with the Japanese driver. Correction, Indonesian driver driving apparently for Brabham Racing. We can guarantee you he is not a Brabham Racing driver. He is still very much committed to Mystery Gang.
I think that Daniel Ricciardo sticker is giving him the buff.
It might be, yeah.
The
Million difference between the Italian and the Indonesian
DRS.
driver.
The DRS is so powerful here, especially now that it's 2 seconds. But
Oh no!
Oh, it goes way wide.
as he's gone a bit wide there and loses the time. Let's go more with Biko. He's just half a second behind G here. Might be setting up a move in the third one here. Biko. The Filipino driver looking ahead with the new livery with promotes Artito Racing as well.
Oh, G
Oh,
knocks
G
out
gets a
really
lock in
badly.
Wide. And now Biko's going to be right on his fence. Now it's going to be very interesting to see how G chooses to defend. Yeah, I don't think he can defend this too much with how close Biko is. He's going to stick to the right hand side. I don't think he can do much. And Biko
Yep, and there it goes.
picks him off.
Very decisive move there for the
84.
Filipino driver into Tamperillo's
And he's
chicane.
well clear of the time. So
And
Miko,
in the meantime, it seems as though Siri has started to gap a little bit from Scoob.
guys,
That
while
gets-
all that's been happening, Ballista's lost 2 more spots.
Oh, he has
8.
too. So I wonder if Ballista's nursing the card a little bit down. Meanwhile, G and Miko are battling still for that
Miko,
P4.
wow.
Seems the
And
G's not
Miko
wanting.
is going to go defensive. Can G get the switch back? He indeed can. What a run! Can he pop his nose in? Can he?
He'll just about have the inside line.
Will he chuck it up the
He's
inside,
side by
though?
side.
Oh!
It's
Oh,
really
yes, he will, and a
risky.
good move there from the Australian
And
driver.
Miko,
He'll take
that was
P4 back.
great racing from 2 drivers. Miko saw that move coming, and he did not choose to turn in. So, but guys, this is going to continue all the way to Aqua Minerali chicane and turn 1 again. So, this is the best battle we've got going on the track, and wow, great respect shown, great racing, loving this.
As Piper seems to be falling down the order inexplicably.
Yeah.
Not sure what's happened there. I wonder
TJ
if he's
Dragon,
wide.
what's happening there?
Oh, TJ goes wide, Aqua Minerali and Vaj will take that position, as well as Pipewell. So TJ falls back down to 10th.
Unfortunate for TJ Dragon there.
The Brunei driver, I want to say. And he's learned the pronunciation of the nation. Whoa! Bit sideways there,
Yep.
through the chicane.
Sato,
Too much
Sato
power.
seems to be
Oh.
closing it. guys.
Scooby and
Sato,
Siri are
Scooby.
trading fastest laps.
Scoot going a
Sato's-
little bit faster than Alessio at the moment.
Sato is somewhat close to Scooby here. And we
Once
see
again
Miko.
with G.
Here we go. G should
Round
probably
the
keep it in the
outside
middle
now.
of the track. He has.
Oh, side by
Great
side.
defense.
Oh,
Right in the
really
middle. Yep.
squeezing the Filipino driver there on the outside of
That's,
Temple chicane.
that's great defending. Right in the middle of the track in turn 1. Nowhere for Miko to go.
Miko will
That's
have
great
the run
defending.
coming out of the chicane here. Will he be able
Yeah,
to probably
but
won't
that's
make a
not
move
gonna.
to the build
I don't
chicane?
think so. I don't think
It's
that.
nicely
You need a
fine.
big braking zone with these cars to make a move. But if you were close enough, you could have probably had a chance with chicane. But I think
Because
Miko right now has to try and close up the gap for as much as possible for either a move into Aqua Minerali chicane or a turn 1 again. Unless one of these drivers makes a mistake, these two touch wood, this is a battle that has the potential to go all the way to the final lap.
Can I just point out that that steering wheel is interesting?
It is.
I didn't actually notice that either.
Oh my god! It's an iOS! It's running CarPlay!
Miko is apparently running Apple products in the race. I'm probably.
Oh, somebody's off!
Oh, someone's
Scooby's off!
Scoob's off!
Oh, Scooby.
And Scoob appears to be slowing down. I wonder if he's had some sort of issue. He's very slow. Not entirely sure what's
He's
happened
trying to
there.
nurse it.
Alessio Siri is having Christmas served early to him. Wow. His two
getting it back on
main
the power.
rivals, Scooby and Ballista, having issues. As we see Sato now holding on to his.
And so the three
This-
drivers that were going to be combating the Italian in his home Grand Prix have now only got down
Are
to
we
one.
gonna have
It's
pit
Sato
stops?
who's
Are
gonna
we gonna have pit stops this race?
Yes, we
Yes.
will.
pit stop will start to
Indeed.
form pretty soon. And now
And
the
we
battle
see-
between G and Miko is now gone into P3, so the podium position here aren't quite solidified
And
yet.
now all of a sudden this battle has even more relevance. As Scooby is in the pit.
What's happening
Yeah,
with
Scoop in the
Scooby?
pits.
And I
wonder if
think he
he's-
might be getting a bit early just to get something up. Wow. Scooby.
I think Ballista made a move on leg bun off camera.
Yes,
Possibly.
Ballista now back
Yeah.
into the top 5.
But he's starting
Wow.
to die down a little bit, honestly.
Yeah, we see a bit of a gap start involved, but guys, got pit stops coming, so it's gonna be a slow burner now. It's gonna be a bit of a slow burner.
It appears
And now,
Tobe has
With
got
how
the king
close,
to the
with
US.
how close Sato is to the rear bumper, not really that close, but 1.6 seconds. That's very much an overcut territory. So it's gonna be very interesting to see if Sato can get the jump with Siri, because if he can, I don't know if Siri's got as much race pace trying to overtake him on track. He's faster, but we're going to need a big delta around a track like Imola to make an overtake. So it's going to be very interesting to see. But now, as we said, Sato is now on the fringes of being 2 seconds behind. As we see
Alessio,
Alessio Siri
131.8.
potting up the pace
Oh,
even more. So
Miko
I
dive
probably-
down in
Oh,
the
Miko
pits.
goes in. Okay, so strategy's going to start to be involved here
Here
between
we
this battle.
go. I should probably stop commentating. I'm just cursing with whatever I see.
No, go on. Continue it.
Alessio Siri is having a very easy afternoon. Oh, okay.
Thank you, Mr. Obvious.
Well, if you
Well-
see a Marlboro-sponsored car in the wall, you know who to blame. Meanwhile, it seems as though TJ and Michael's gonna be
Oh,
better.
whoa! Bit slidey on the entry from TJ Dragon.
TJ really pushing that car. It's right behind Piper, the Japanese driver, as we go through the villain of chicane. And again, that rear end seems to be very loose.
It looks like he's yanking the handbrake on entry.
Yes, it almost does seem
Oh
like
my
it,
goodness. Hop on board for a bit. It seems as though we might be able to see it here through turn 9.
I think it's the tires are giving up on him.
It could be actually. He is currently on the medium tires. About the time drivers decide to consider pitting. So we might see TJ and Piper box for their second tires as well as a refuel.
But from the experience
The
of
gap
running
here
the
is only
track,
10.
like the medium tires can last the 10 laps without any problem with the pace.
Well, I wonder if
Saturday's in the pits as we speak, so is G.
those G. I wonder if Ballista will box as well.
Ballista is now currently
Oh no, he isn't
classified.
boxing.
Ballista. Oh, Ballista is in the pits, guys. Oh,
No,
he
he's
is,
not.
but
No,
He's
it's not.
currently on the track.
blocking.
I think with how I think you can gain more of a time with an overcut. Who could say?
Loosey
I think you
goosey.
can gain more of a. I think you can get more of a time with an overcut with these cars now that you can refuel. Let's not forget that. So, Ballista, if he can just not overdrive the car, which he is at the moment, he can probably make up a bit of time here. And for all you Ballista fans, we've still got a reverse
Oh,
grid race coming up.
somebody's on
And
the
reverse-
All
sideline.
there.
It's Sato.
Sato!
Oh. Nobody wants to challenge Alessio Siri this afternoon, does he? No one.
No.
one.
It seems that everything's falling in place here for the Italian driver. Home favourite.
Wow.
Somehow Raj managed to get into the fight with G.
Yeah,
and
somehow
Miko.
Raj has
Raj. Yeah.
Raj has somehow jumped Miko in the pit phase, and so now he's battling for third position alongside G. So the battle for P3 here seems to be getting much more interesting.
Indeed. And Miko, being calm as ever, I'm pretty sure will be more than happy to take fifth place as we see our race leader pitting, but I'm pretty sure Miko will try and still go for a move. The problem he's going to have is Raj is going to have slipstream and DRS from G in front of him, so that's going to make the overtake from Miko a bit harder, but he's also going to have double slipstream. So,
Ballista's
is that,
also in pits as well.
yep, Ballista's followed his championship rival into the pits, and I personally wouldn't look too much into if anyone can jump unless they seriously see G's gone wide there. With Sato's mistake, Siri just has to keep it on the black stuff, and he's probably going to win the race, but he's also...
So we're already out in the pits. Be interesting to see where Ballista comes out. He's taxing the pit lane at the moment. We have this battle for third emerging. As I say that, looks as though Raj is going to go for a move on the Australian driver. He'll easily take that position as Ballista comes out pits now. Just in front of Turbo, and it'll be challenging going into Tabarello. But it seems as though that the second place officially now has changed hands. With Raj in second, G into third, with Mick on the tails there. And Tobe is going to have some probably unfriendly company, really, as Ballista's going to be wanting to get past the Norwegian as soon as possible. Going through the Villeneuve chicane here, and you didn't quite see it beforehand, but he was right on the diffuser of the F3 car for Kamekame driver.
Sol Kamikami driver as well, let's not forget.
Yeah.
They're going for a Constructors' Championship as well.
Ballista getting a good exit here through Toza, coming towards Piratelli. He's going to go towards the inside here. Will he make the move on the Norwegian? Yes, he will. Pushing him all the way outside, but the Norwegian able to keep
but
his nose in
Sato
it.
in the third party now.
Sato in the third party involved, so it's going to be just Ballista around the outside. But contact! But he saved it! How has he done that?
Huge
What a-
contact here.
The Norwegian driver, quick hands learned from his days in karting. Putting it to good use here, he's able to save the car and be able to keep it on the black stuff. Sato good on and giving the position back to the Norwegian driver. He'll go back up to P6, but it seems to the Scoob. Sato gotten back involved here with his championship rivals. He'll be right behind Sato. He's going to go
Around the
towards
outside.
here. Into Revato 1. Will Scoob be able to make the move? Yes, he will!
Oh, a bit on the grass
Just
though.
about.
Just a bit.
On the grass, but he will be able to keep it, at least in the meantime. But I think Sato's going to have the DRS as well as the better exit coming through Revato 2. Onto the main straight here as we're going to lap 10. So the Japanese driver will probably have DRS, as will Scoop actually. So it appears that the Scoop being able to pull away from the Yakutori car at the moment. Umo Ballista has made the move on... No, he didn't do it beforehand, excuse me. But going into Temporello now, it seems to be all undecided now for the most part. But Ballista's starting to pull away now, and Tobe is going to have even more unfriendly company as Scoob is right on the gearbox now of the Norwegian.
If Ballista can get a podium, the start he had, I think that'd be a good race.
Sato getting a huge gain.
And guys, let's not look at that. G up in P2.
Yeah, he's done very well for himself. Scoob making a move here now on the Norwegian driver P5 in the same spot where he lost the position beforehand.
Once again,
He'll
to the inside.
very cleanly make the
Sato.
move through Piranella. And it seems as though Sato getting checked up quite a bit there on from the Norwegian driver. Tobe now going to have to defend quite hard here to keep his P6. He's dropped quite a far bit, and he's gone squirrely on the exit by Afro Milawale, and Sato will take the opportunity now. He'll go towards the inside, heading towards the Alta Chicane for the 10th time this race. He'll make the move nice and cleanly in the first part of the chicane. He'll go up into P6. Next up might be Scoob, depending on pace from the Japanese driver. I'll get back to you guys in a second as to what the pace difference is once we get some cleaner laps. But the time difference, but the time left of the race, starting to whittle down the moment. We are already on to lap 11. So with the commanding lead.
This is a fast race.
Yeah, it is a really fast race.
And
As Tobe gone
Kobe
into the pits.
going to the pits, yeah.
I'm not really sure what's happened there. Possibly damage, yeah. From the contact that he had with Sato.
Rohe will be in a strategic pole position for the next race.
Yes, he will.
Unless Top drops behind him.
We'll get to see, but meanwhile,
remember-
Raj.
And remember what Garlic said about an unlikely winner in race 2. See?
And
Sendra is taking
TJ
his
now.
time against TJ.
Yeah, TJ now having company of both Sendra and Raj, developing PA, trying to get some scraps of points here, going towards the dying stages of race 1 here at Imola. And it seems to be all uncertain for the most part, but we know Sendra isn't the most patient of drivers, is the best way to describe it. He'll want to get past the Brunelli driver as fast as possible. Raj will probably be thinking the same as well, particularly with his battle of the points for Sendra. It seems that actually Scoob and Sato are battling at the moment, if we could go cut to that quickly.
Oh, here we go. This is going to be good to watch as we see Safta here just riding the curbs. I think you got to be within about 6 to 7 tenths of a second to have a good chance of overtaking someone into turn 1 and not having to worry about their line. So here we see Sato just squaring it off. Let's just see if he can get a good run off the final corner. It's all about the exit. Oh, he's understeered there. And you see the gap open up just a bit. He's going to have to help with DRS. But I think it's going to be quite close getting into turn 1 with the gap he has. I said about 6 tenths to 0.7 might be a bit of a stretch. And it seems like he's just going to run out of race. He's
the outside.
Oh,
No,
there's a
just run
lock.
out of
There's a
race.
lock.
Little
right?
dangerous. He'll go wide, and you nearly lose.
Can he save it? Oh, good save. But
Sato getting a
all
little
that-
patient there. And that
Yeah,
might
I
be his
think
race, unfortunately.
I think that's going to be a keynote as we see Sendra here going for an overtake. As we
That was
see 3
pretty
cars
clean
battling here for
overtake
PA. Like I said, let's remember that for race 2, when you've got faster drivers trying to overtake the pack on their way up to the front, it seems like you got to be within about
Oh,
half a
TJ
second.
is off! TJ is off!
Oh,
Oh,
TJ! Ooh.
TJ into the wall there, and it appears as though Raj will be able to take that P9 with a lot less resistance than he was expected, and now the battle for PA is going to get a little spicy, as well as P7, depending on the race pace between Sendra and Raj. As Tobe goes up into P11 and TJ drops far down the order into P12. But it'll be interesting to see how this battle for P8 forms as well as for P7, with Alessio setting the fast lap for Grand Prix 131.7. He's certainly made quite a commanding lead alongside G. He's actually done really well for himself, all things considered. P2, great start from him, as TJ appears to be retiring as he shoots up the order for temporary. That'll go back down in a second. But meanwhile, this battle for P8 officially is starting to form. Raj will have the DRS going down the main straight for the second to last time, heading to we're about to 1 now.
Interesting.
Seems to be all.
G has made a good race here. He made up
And once
5
again,
races.
Miko just keeping his nose clean in the podium.
Yeah.
That is true,
certainly
actually.
his
And
role.
Miko he's only a second, or actually less than a second now behind the Australian driver. So that P2 that I was talking about for the Australian G may not be entirely secure, as Raj is making a move now on Sendra. For PA down the main straight in towards the Temporello chicane for the first time, around the outside. Sendra keeping his nose in, but
Oh
in
no!
the
I think there was contact
there's
there, just a
contact.
bit.
There was a bit of contact. It didn't seem as though either driver was giving each other enough room, unfortunately. So Sendra getting into the wall there, and Vaj seems though taking towards the sausage chicane, the sausage curbs there through the temporary chicane, getting a bit of air there from the privateer driver. But meanwhile, Miko's going to try and make some sort of move against the Australian into the ultra chicane. No, he thinks better of it. He's going to set himself up here for the straight. Oh, a little bit squirrely coming out of the exit there, unfortunately for the Filipino driver.
If he can just maintain the gap to about, I think, 6/10 of a second like we saw, he's going to have a chance in turn 1 as Celestia Siri sets the fastest lap and starts his final lap. But now, right, this focus is on P2, who's going to get that second stop on the grid, and an important 3 more World Championship points. And as we see Miko with the gap he has G, again,
he's gaining.
just like earlier in the race.
He'll go towards the inside here, going towards the temporary chicane. You'll easily make the pass with the DRS, but crucially, you are able to make that pass before the straight. So it's a question of whether G is going to sit back, or he's going to make the move in the dying moments of this race.
Exactly.
Oh, they're still close.
as we
Still
see G
close.
is getting so
And they're
close.
really pushing these FD cars to the absolute limits.
As you see, Miko goes defensive. G will have to try really brave. We'll have to try a really brave move around the outside. Thinks better of it.
Doesn't come of it though. Filipino driver shutting the door quite nicely on the exit of the Filipino chicane as we go through toes for the final time now. The gap's starting to widen a little bit between these two drivers to P2 position. Siri miles away, so he's certainly going to get a couple win here unless he runs into some sort of issue. We're going through Piratella now for the final time. It seems that Miko's starting to eke out a nice gap on the Australian driver, but not enough to get out of the DRS range. So it is possible that G might be able to make some sort of last-ditch move, either going into a Vatsa or coming down the main straight for the final time.
I think his best chance is going to be on the right of the line with the gap he has. But Alessia Siri runs the final corner, and he's going to take a commanding home race win. And with that, he's going to now lead the championship.
Yep, new leader here,
And
131.4.
just casually sets the fastest lap on
Quickly go back to G's PV because
G.
P2 and P3 is yet to be decided here. G will have the DOS coming out of Vatsa now for the final time. Will it be enough? No, he's greedy on
I
the
don't
throttle.
think so.
And I don't think it'll be enough. It seems as though he is gaining, but it won't be enough. And Miko will take P2, with G taking third. A great battle there between the two privateer drivers. Scoob will take fourth by the looks of it.
Melissa lost the position there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Melissa in P5, not a good start. And Sato in 6th, so the Yakitori was not as dominant as we expect. Lakebun will finish P7 by the looks of it, so it's a pretty good job from him, all things considered. Only superior car today, so he's continuing to fight the flag for his team. Vaj will finish behind. The order has gotten messed up in P8, there we go. He's slowing down. Vaj is slowing down. Vaj is slowing down.
Oh
Is
no,
he out of
I think he's
fuel?
out of fuel.
Might be out of fuel.
No,
Oh,
he's
that
not.
is-
No, he's not. He just.
Vaj lets Sendra and Pipewell by.
As well as Tobel. Tobel takes a top 10.
So I wonder if Vaj has given up that position for Sendra after the contact that they had.
Probably.
So he drops
Or-
all the way down to P11.
Wow.
That was
Wow.
interesting.
Odd, honestly. So yeah, first race done. As Miko's disconnected from the server, unfortunately, not quite sure why. But Alessio finishing the race in his home race in P1. Miko in P2, followed by G in P3, Scoob in P4, so pretty good recovery drive from him. Ballista in P5, Sato in P6, probably a bit disappointed between those two drivers. Lakebud in P7, so a good start from him. Sendra in P8, I believe that's where he qualified as well, so no difference from him. P9 is Pipewell, P10 is Tobe, he also qualified in 10th, so a good start from him. P11 is Raj, P12 is Roche, so that's pretty disappointing from the Mystery Gang driver, but as Flying Sand alluded to, he will have the strategic pole position for race 2. P13 is TJ, and P14 is Gordon.
I sometimes wonder if the idol Jamaican has a poor first race on purpose every time, just so that he can get a strategic pole position in the same race. I wonder, does he do it on purpose? Probably.
Maybe. We'll have to ask him at some point.
As
it's
you
maybe
said
what-
that, Zed,
Race car drivers never say the truth. Let's be real.
as you said that in the live chat, Zed has mentioned, or maybe he's giving it away, that Raj is giving it away so he can have a better position for race 2.
Possibly.
I have the funniest story. Well, now that I remember about race car drivers not ever say the truth. One time a friend of mine wanted to try a setup around an F1 track. at the F1 game, and he asked me for a setup. I was like, sure. I gave him, I think it was a Monaco, and I gave him like a Monza setup for Monaco. He goes out and tries it, and it was like, oh, bro, that's amazing. I'm like, oh, wait, what? You sure? That setup is good? Are you sure about that? He's like, oh, yeah, it's the best setup I've ever driven. I'm never going to change it. I'm like, wow. Okay, you do you.
Probably worked out for
Drivers
him in the
heading
end.
to the grid now.
Yeah. He was
Drivers
talking
heading
more
to the
riding.
grid now. The order for Han P1, Vaj P2, followed by Tobe, Piper, Sendra, Lakebun, Sato, Ballista, Scoob, G, Miko, Alessio, then TJ Dragon, and Gordon just round out the 14 drivers taking the grid for race 2.
I just can't get over the clouds.
He's so infatuated by the clouds.
Are we going to rain this race at this rate?
Mm-hmm. Maybe. That's a huge question mark.
Question mark even for the admins, honestly.
Oh.
You can hear those V6s revving away for race 2 at Imola for round 3. Race 6 of the championship. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 red lights here for race 2 at Imola, the reverse grid race. And there's lights out and away we go. And it seems as though that the front two drivers being able to get a pretty equal start. Bohei will cut off Vaj immediately going into the temporary chicane for the first time. Vaj trying to look for some sort of move, going towards the outside here now for turn 1, but that's going to leave him susceptible to Turbolobe coming out of the exit here of the chicane.
Much
Seems
cleaner
to be all
turn
clean
one.
for the most part.
I'm just joking.
Oh, and as I say that, G's gone
G,
round.
Gordon, Piper.
Oh, and Gordon and Piper have gotten involved in each other. That's going to probably be investigated after, because it seems that Gordon got the power earlier than to be expected. But meanwhile, it seems that right here starting to streak away from a little bit as Raj is fighting for his life against Sendra
Oh no,
here.
it's slidey.
Oh!
And Sendra gets it all wrong, coming out of Toza. He'll drop down the order.
Out of all that. Ballista's ahead of Siri. That's going to be crucial for the championship. Let's keep an eye out on that.
And we say that Scoob and Siri battling for P8 as they go through Piratella. The Italian will take advantage over the Indonesian driver and he'll nick that P8.
Ballista has to be aggressive.
Oh, there's huge contact between Lakebun and Sato.
Oh, no. I think Lakebun. Oh, no.
Lakebun probably outbraked himself.
Yeah,
I think he
Lakebun
did.
severely overbrakes himself there and he'll collide with the Yakutoi driver. But onboard here with Ballista battling for his P4 them over here, so he's getting a better run there.
And look who's right behind them.
Yep, right behind is his championship rival, the Italian. You can just see behind there, Alessio Siri, and he's looking for that P5 immediately. So a good start there from the Italian.
Yep.
Made it textbook on the first lap.
Ballista's gonna have to make this overtake ASAP, or Siri's gonna find a way past him.
And it seems that this battle for third is going to become a four-way battle here, as Turbolobe is going to be defending for his life here against Sendra.
Oh, there's no space.
This is not what
Sendra going
Ballista
towards
wants.
No
the inside.
space.
That's not going to work there,
Oh,
my
double
friend.
jumping.
Oh,
Don't
Tobe
go wide.
jumps, and he'll go wide onto the grass there. Norwegian not getting it quite right there through the Temporary chicane. He'll drop all the way down and lose his third position. That'll promote
Siri
Sendra
is
up
now
into
close
P3.
at his rear, smelling blood in the water.
And there's the Indonesian driver there, Scooby-Doo, is also going to be interested here.
Oh!
He looks towards the outside.
He's
of
making
it.
a move already!
A dive bomb and a half from the Italian. It'll make it work
Whoa.
against the championship rival, but Ballista will get the exit just about here as we head towards turn 9 now. He's edging just a little bit ahead
Oh
there
my
against the
God,
Italian
Oh my
driver.
god, this is so on
Sendra
fire!
will
Whoa!
Alessio will send it incredibly hard there. And probably extending a little bit there, going through that corner, so it might be a bit investigated from the stewards there. But Ballista will lose his P4 from the Italian.
Oh, that's gonna. I think that's the first time we've seen Ballista and Alessio Siri go wheel to wheel.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that'll be a little
That's
bit
good.
contentious, probably.
That's gonna hit Ballista mentally as well. His championship rival just overtook him.
Yeah, that's
When
so
he had
early
the
as
track
well
position.
in Tulsa.
Yeah. I mean, long way to go still. And
Certainly.
Raj just sitting around comfortably in a second behind Rohei, but all eyes here.
Now available for the
Let's not
drivers.
forget, Ballista's gonna be here, guys. He's gonna have a double slipstream. And if he gets there, is he gonna dive?
But it seems that Ballista is gaining alongside the
Yeah.
Italian.
Try his best once again. It's blocked off. The inside is blocked off.
This is the worst thing Ballista could have hoped for. Absolutely the worst thing he could have hoped for. Just caught Sendro at the worst possible place. And he's gonna have to make this overtake. And Sendro is not going to
He
be
has
here.
to defend.
Well, he should. they're fighting for position. Ballista's gonna have to find a way past ASAP. And now, I said it on the top of the show, Ballista's never had pressure. How is he gonna go about overtaking, especially in race 2? Is he gonna go for more aggressive moves, or is he still gonna be the calm reserve driver? If he's the calm reserve driver, which he normally is, he's seeing his championship rival disappear into the distance and potentially gaining 3 to 6 more points as things stand.
And interestingly, you can just see in the background a
Oh,
missed
Rohe!
defeat that he-
Rohe spun! The Ironville Jamaican has lost second place!
From the lead of the race, Rohe has gone round, and that'll promote the Indian driver Raj up into P1 and Siri up into P2.
Oh, Ballista, this is not helping. He's trying, guys. You just
And
see how
Scoob's getting bigger in the mirrors there. He might be looking for a move into Ravatsa.
Oh, he is.
Down
blood
the
in
He's
the
gonna
inside.
go for it. Oh my.
And he'll take P4.
Ballista's day is just a lot harder. And right behind them, Miko.
Miko.
This is certainly getting interesting now. Lots of goosebumps.
Oh, this is. As Alessia Siri is in P2,
Already.
closing in.
This is so interesting. I've never seen Ballista fighting this hard for position.
Oh, bit of contact there between the Indies
Miko.
And he lost the place once again to Miko.
Miko
Wow.
and Nick P5 there.
It seems like
And Ballista falling
turned off-
ever further back.
It's like somehow the difficulty went up to hard to. Oh my god.
And it seems that Ballista might be trying to make some sort of move here on the Filipino driver. He doesn't want to have that P5 lost so easily, heading towards Piratella. And he's close, but he's not close enough to make a move into that corner. He's going to wait a little bit, wait through Aqua Minerale. Scoob and Sendra now battling for third. Sendra really getting involved here with Scoob.
This is, I think, this is not what
Yeah, I think
Ballista wanted to see.
I think
He
the
is
momentum-
watching. I called it on top of the show. It's very different when you're a second pass back. He is now seeing his championship rival potentially getting another race win as he goes for a move himself, while he is on the fringes of the top 5, multiple seconds behind. So, wow. As we see, I thought Goose was going at the pit lane there. He
not yet.
continues on.
But it seems as though Sendra's going to try and make a move on Scoob. By the looks of it, he's going towards the outside.
Oh, somebody!
Sendra's
Huge contract!
a huge spin!
Oh, that's Sendra. That's Sendra, I think.
Yeah,
think
so
Sendra
that
had a-
was Sendra.
And I think Sendra moved too violently. We had DOS open, he moved way too
I think.
violently.
Oh, that
I
was.
think I'm gonna.
It was caught on camera as well that he went flying.
I
way
think.
above.
I think I'm gonna have another busy evening incoming at this rate.
But I was on board with Sendra then. It seems they moved way too violently trying to make the move on Scoob, and he just spun because of DOS. He didn't have the rear grip.
He went
Oh, wow.
flying. Yeah, it was so high.
As we
Luckily,
see-
Miko just missed it.
If Ballista can clear Scoobs here, and if Raj and Siri start battling, because I think Raj is gonna battle Siri. He doesn't care about the championship. He wants a race win. Ballista can still have a chance. A lot of it will depend on how quickly he can clear. Apparently, the Brabham car, but it's actually the Scooby mystery gang in front of him.
Oh my god.
Battle starting to merge now to third place between the Japanese and the Indian Indonesian
Ballista has to
driver
go.
today.
Ballista has to go for the main place at the front. He can't afford to sit back.
We'll have the DOS here.
Yeah, he's close enough. He's a half a second. I think he's gonna have a chance at someone as long as he can just stay reserved, which I think he will. And he gets a good
Scoob going
edge.
into
If he
the pit
Scooby
early.
goes into the pit lane, I think that's as good a thing Ballista would have hoped for. He's gonna get an overcut. Easy series at the fastest time. Ballista's gonna get a DRS and an overcut here. So now with clear track in front of him, let's see what pace he's got. Let's see if he can close in. As we see Siri now, just under a second, and in DRS of our race leader.
Yep, he is right behind the Indian driver there. Vaj, you can just see him just in front. He's already gaining through each corner there, through the Villeneuve chicane. Oh, you're losing actually a little bit of time there. Perfect
Raj
undercut
can-
there.
Raj can do Ballista huge favor.
See, Alessio really pushing the car, but just perfectly, honestly. Perfect car, throttle control. This is the point where you're able to slide the car around. But get the power on.
Wow. It just looks textbook watching him drive. It just looks textbook. Absolutely
Way
beautiful.
smooth.
He's so smooth. He makes it look He makes it look like
does.
anybody can jump in and do this. But what he's doing right now with this car, it's very difficult. I'll be surprised if even 0.1% of the sim racers out there can do this. This is incredible what I'm watching. And no wonder he is winning a championship. And let's not forget, winning a championship when he missed the first 2 races.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Oh,
As we
meanwhile,
see
Sato
Sato-
making a move on Miko. Miko barely giving him enough room heading towards Vatson now, but Sato will make the move down the inside on the Filipino driver up into P4 quite nicely there. So the Ekatoy boys now in P3 and 4. Miko starting to lose a little bit of time.
Dives down into the pits.
Yep, so Miko takes the opportunity to make his pit stop, but Siri gaining on the Indian driver, not quite enough to make a move there into the temporary chicane as we're about halfway through the lap of the race already. And the battle for P1 starting to really heat up quite a bit here.
Indeed. But I think it's just going to be a matter of when
Still
Siri picks
expecting
up
Raj to give him some stiff resistance. Moving up to
Yeah, he's
P1.
going to fight it, yeah, but he's right behind him now, just about on the
If
gauge.
he-
of
If
Indian
he
driver.
maintains this gap on the pit straight, Raj can't defend that. No matter how good he defends. With the DRS, it's going to be pretty much game over. So, Alessio Siri is just so much faster than everybody else on the grid. It doesn't matter what the rest do. This is incredible.
Alessio getting a little squirrely out of Aqua Minerale, so he'll lose maybe about half a tenth. He's getting it all back with straight line speed, heading towards
And
the ultra
shift
train
train.
now.
Takes
Bit of
Ooh,
curve, loses a bit
really
of time
easy.
at the exit.
a lot of time, yeah.
Got a bit of dirty air. Let's not forget that. Well,
True. Heading into Iveta now for the 7th time this race. He's already gaining a lot through the braking zone there.
He's just gonna have to try and make sure he gets a clean exit. It's all about the exit. He hasn't. He's gone a bit wide and he's understeered. So it's gonna be very nip and tough to see if he can get there.
It's going to be close, but if anyone's going to try and go for the move here, it'll be Alessio. The Italian gaining, has the slipstream, he has the DRS, he has the straight line speed, he has the left side of the corner, he has the inside
Raj is not gonna fight it. Or is he gonna try and break it around the outside?
No, he did not.
No.
Raj did not fight that. Wow. And
Raj
Alessio
seems-
Siri
Has now
is trying to
taken
make it
first-
4 for 4. He's trying to make it 4 for 4 in his 4 outings at Artito Racing for the F3 Championship.
And you can always see the gap starting to form there between the two drivers. Meanwhile, go back towards the pit stops, or the pit stoppies already, I should say, of Scoob and Miko. As they're making a move here, Miko makes the move on the Indonesian drive for P9, which will turn into P7, as G and Pipewell box.
Yep.
Very nicely done there from the Filipino drivers. But the race starting to settle down a little bit now. Raj is still crucially within a second behind. As I say that, he jumps to 1.5 seconds. I was going to say he's crucially still within the second, so he might be able to make some sort of. Whoa! What happened to Raj?
I think
What happened to Raj? Yeah.
he must have made a mistake.
Must have. I think it was Aqua Minerale, but he lost a lot of time. Ballista up into P2 now.
I think
6 seconds
I
between
think-
them.
I think before that mistake, I just think Raj, with all the experience on his shoulders, knew there was no point for Siri. I think he knew that he was gonna probably lose that position anyway. So I think he thought
Siri
more
now
about
into the
his
pits.
race. Yes.
Ballista
So
also
Siri
followed in.
Raj
Raj
crucially
stays up.
stays out.
He's gonna give him an overcut, but I think Raj just knew that Siri was not as balanced this afternoon. So I just think he let him go. But it's going to be very interesting to see now, in terms of pit stops, what the two championship rivals to do.
Alessio taxiing his way out onto the straight now. Ballista just finished his pit stop.
Top
He's
level
gonna
pit
do
lane camera. Top level pit lane camera right there.
It's really nice. It's going to be battling Tobe on exit, so Tobe will take P3 at least for the moment anyway. I don't think he's stopped quite yet. But he
No,
will
he
certainly be
hasn't.
putting a thorn in the side of Ballista.
Yeah. But I think he'll be fine. I think Tom might hit by the time he gets
Meanwhile, G and Pipewell battling for P9.
Mm-hmm.
Pipewell just electing to stay behind the Australian driver there, and G starting to make a bit of a gap there for the Japanese driver.
This livery reminds me of the Williams testing days, way back in 2014.
Oh, it does actually, yeah. Yeah.
Doesn't seem as though Piper has the straight line speed or the DO. Oh, maybe. He's gaining on the Australian driver, but doesn't seem to be quite enough to be able to make a move into the Chamberlain chicane. Now he'll like to stay behind, but G
Gene
goes
locks
wide.
up.
Then lock up.
And that'll give Piper an opportunity. He has a lot of overspeed in comparison to G. He's probably not going to make a move, but he's looking on the inside just a little bit. Is going to the Villanelle chicane.
I heard him
Keeping
lift
it all
just a
line
bit.
astern. Yep. Yeah, he's not quite using all the track there, so I wonder if he's starting to battle tire where as G is able to make a gap on the Japanese driver. Very nicely done from the Australian. And it seems to be as though Raj is in the pit, actually, yes, that's correct. So it'll be interesting to see where Ballista falls out, as well as Tobe. Well, with
In relation
Raj.
to Raj.
If Tobe hasn't stopped yet, he's elected to go for another lap at the very least.
Alessio now
There goes
took the
Alessio.
lead,
There goes Raj.
and closely followed
There's
by
Tobe.
Ballista.
And crucially, I believe that was
behind.
Sato. No, it wasn't. Sorry,
Oh.
that was Ballista, my bad.
Miko, out of all that, is in the top 6.
What
I don't
about,
know how that's happened.
what about Tobe?
Yeah, Tobe's in second.
Tom hasn't pitted yet, though.
I'll double
Or
check
has he?
that actually.
I think he did.
I don't think he has.
I think he's pitted the first lap.
No,
Oh,
he
wow.
hasn't. No, he hasn't, I think.
Oh, he hasn't, though.
140. I'm not sure. He had
Well-
slow first and second laps.
Data said he didn't yet.
Yeah.
So it's not an effective P2, but it is still a P2 nonetheless, at least for the moment anyway, for the Norwegian driver.
Wow, this race has flown by.
Yeah, it has gone very fast.
Oh.
I think it's actually shorter than the other races, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we probably made a mistake with the lap count. Wow.
Now,
On my time, it's still 4:04, and we're already finishing race 2.
Yeah.
We pretty much finished so early, ahead of time.
This is record pace.
Yeah.
Probably helps that when your lead driver's finishing the race so fast.
true, it would probably help. Alessio paving the way.
There's so much pace up front. Yeah.
Ballista's already looking to make a move on Tobe for that P2. He's not willing to stick around. He's right behind the Norwegian driver, and Tobe
he's
is certainly going to be
driving down
doing.
the
Yep,
pits.
he goes into the pits. So yeah, he's elected just to get out of the way of the Japanese driver, but that's
Raj, I think,
Raj.
is gonna have DRS here as well.
he will, and that's probably going to give Raj just a semblance of
And
hope
he's-
to
and
maybe
he's gonna
challenge.
have a lap fresher tires as well.
He will have lap pressure tires certainly, but he's also going to have Sato right behind him. So he's in a bit of a yakitori sandwich, or a skewer, as we like to refer to it here.
That's, I don't know about that one. It's a new term.
Ooh,
Oh,
Ballista, a little wide.
Ballista's
That'll
been
give
going
Raj-
wide there. Ballista's been going wide there quite a bit. If you look at the previous lap as well.
He's really pushing the car, it seems.
Yeah.
He's 8 seconds behind. Let's be real. He's gonna have to
G
make a
making a move
miracle.
there on Lake Fun. He'll go towards the outside of the turbo rush again. No, he
Not
won't be
quite
able to
yet,
cut
but
back.
I
We
think
can try and crisscross.
Get a good
And
Try
exit.
and crisscross and get a good exit.
Lakeburn making his exterior as wide a car as possible. Really good defending there from the
Oh,
Indonesian
he's
driver.
gonna.
Is he going to go around the outside of the village again? Yes, he
Yes,
will!
he
is.
did.
Oh, can he keep it
And
on
he
the
made it
inside?
An amazing move there from the Australian.
Oh.
Putting one on
Cover
the
that, cover that,
Indonesian
cover that in the
driver.
middle. Beautiful move. Beautiful move.
Into P8. Well done there from G.
Experience
Great
is
racing from the
really
both
showing
drivers,
for
really.
him.
We have seen some great racing this afternoon. We have seen some great battles this afternoon.
Lakeburn still sticking with the Australian. As I say, there he goes.
Oh.
Okay, that won't be blamed on me.
I was just gonna say that one is not me, guys.
Okay, I'm starting to believe that commentator's curse is really a thing now.
It is. It really is. Trust me, it is.
Wow. Words are so powerful when you're in the commentary booth.
Maybe a little too powerful, unfortunately.
Yep, exactly.
So here, the race. Raj is now under a second, closest driver of the track. Let's just go on board with the Indian driver as he tries to hone in on his long-time rival, Ballista. Very, very unusual to see Ballista and P2D.
But still, it is.
And he's
Wide
gone
again.
wide there again.
It's his. It's the best. I think it's his best race so far.
Yeah, probably. If you disregard the fact that the first 2 races he won, or
Oh really?
even
Oh yeah,
when-
yeah. Well, except when,
well, but Alessio Siri was not racing, but with all
Yeah.
the races
Yeah.
Alessio Siri's been racing, this has probably been his best outing, but how is that going to affect him mentally that he was ahead of his championship rival and he got passed into turn 9 where it's not really an overtaking corner?
How big is the gap between their rivalry?
8 seconds.
No, I mean like the
8
championship.
Other points.
Yeah,
Oh.
5 points.
That's 5
It's
points
gonna
going
be
into
bigger
this
now.
race. It's going to
Yeah.
be quite substantial now. I
The
think.
season is
And like
still
I said,
long.
it's
True.
long, and let's not forget, Siri might miss a few races, but if he misses a round and he's 25 points ahead, I don't think that's really going to affect him that much.
Yeah. But still,
Yeah,
it is
we'll
the
see.
first time that we saw Ballista.
But let's not
step down
forget,
from
now
the
that Alessio Siri knows that he can win the championship, he probably might be racing every round between
Yeah,
now
he
and the end
might.
of the season.
top. Will
Might be
encourage
trying
him
to-
definitely.
Yeah. Let's just hope he doesn't do a Rosberg
Oh.
and he sticks around. But anyways, we're too early to talk about championships yet, but looking very good for the Italian driver on Italian soil. She gets 50 points off the weekend as we prepare for
Raj is now closing
the-
down on Ballista.
Ballista's probably
Yes,
running
he
out of
is.
tires. And
Might
you
be,
can
yeah.
just see how much he's pushing that Yakitori racing car. He's going wide quite a bit and missing apexes. Has he settled for P2 or is he still trying to push for the win? Surely he probably realizes right now that the win is out of reach. He probably has to think about the long game right now. But when you're a race car driver and you've just been outdriven like that, it's hard to think logically.
Definitely.
But I remember when I used to get outdriven like this, I would try to the fastest lap just to make a statement. Because that's what race car drivers want to try and do. They want to try and make a statement. Raj, there's a lot of curve there.
Oh, it goes
Yeah.
wide there and he's going to lose time on the
There's no
Japanese
use time
driver.
there.
I believe racing
As-
has its own fair share of mind games as well.
It
Yeah.
definitely does. It definitely does. And let's not forget that it's not a full-on individual sport. Even sim racing, a lot of it is down to setups, luck, ping. A lot of stuff goes in. So it's not really as simple as, just get in and drive the car as fast as possible. As I've been saying that, unless you're seriously starts to find a lap 8 seconds ahead, but he's going to go into round 4 with a healthy points advantage if things remain the way they are. And we see Ballista once again sideways. He has done well to keep the Yakitori racing car on the black stuff in this second stint because it feels like Raj has definitely, they've probably had equal pace, but you can just see how much harder Ballista has put to get his lap time.
Well, towards the end of this now, Raj is setting faster laps than Ballista.
Yeah,
132.5
he's, like
from
I said,
the Japanese driver.
as he went out of pits, like I said, he has fresh tires. Rohei has had a disastrous weekend. He's not going to score any points, and that's not going to help his Pro AM
No.
chances. Not Pro, but
It
now for
seems
Pro
as though-
Artito racer.
Seems that the mystery game drivers can only really have one of them score well on the weekend.
Yeah, since he's Scooby and Miko's in the top 5 once again, serving well for himself. But let's go and see Alessio Siri.
Yep.
With
Alessio.
the hard pace. It just looks, something's just right about seeing a McLaren in P1 with that margin in that livery. It's like I'm in the
Alessio
80s
going
again.
around the final corner now, onto the main straight, and here we'll do another perfect run here, this time at Imola, his home race. He'll win race 6 here in the championship, and race 2 at Imola for round 3. A perfect win from the Italian driver there.
Meanwhile,
I just
Ballista
realized something,
coming
as he
with
was-
second place.
And then to see Raj get that final podium. Good outing for the Japanese driver to get P2 after the start. Great outing for the Indian driver. Yakitori Racing gets 2. Miko gets into the top 5. I just had a thought, guys, going across the final corner. How weird is it to see an Italian win an Italian Grand Prix in a McLaren?
That is strange,
I've
yeah.
never seen any Italian drivers in McLaren yet.
I don't think I've ever.
Oh,
I think
it's
Opel and G is fighting.
Opel and G. Oh, here we go.
From musing about Formula 1 history, it seems that the battle's still going for 7th. So, gonna have the slipstream.
And don't get him across the line.
It's a drag
Really?
race,
It's gonna be-
definitely.
it's gonna be
Oh!
I think he got
no,
it.
not enough.
Close. Oh, he might have. It says he got
6
it.
100ths of a second difference.
Wow.
G just pipped the Norwegian.
And
Oh.
Pipeworth takes 10th place.
10th. Yep.
So
The finishing order for race 2, P1 is Alessio Siri, P2 is Ballista, followed by Raj to round off the podium. P4 is Sato, 5 is Miko, 6 is Scoob, and a very good showing from him, all things considered. P7 is G, P8 is Tobe, P9 is Lakebun, P10 is Pipewell, and the non-finishers are Rohei, Gordon, Sendra, and TJ Dragon.
Wow, that's quite interesting. What happened between Ballista and Siri. I think it's an eye opener for
mentally.
sure.
That's mentally gotta be damning. It really is, and that's not a dig at any driver. It's just mentally damning, and we've seen these sort of things in real life before. Like we've seen it with Lewis Hamilton in 2021, the first few races when he finally got pressured off. He made a few mistakes, but wow, Alessio Siri is stamping his authority, and you get a beautiful glimpse of this Imola circuit. It's a great track, really is. What do you guys think of them adding a chicane at turn 1? Accident in 94.
In what?
What do you guys think of them adding a chicane at turn 1 after the Senna accident rather than it being a flat out dead kink into the build-up chicane?
It could be a flat out kink, but it has to have a huge runoff area.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be the same. For me personally, the turn 1 chicane is alright. What about you guys?
Satellite. Yeah, I agree. But I think that looks like a Google satellite eventually, doesn't it?
It does actually. It looks really realistic.
Yeah.
It looks like
Or Microsoft.
it looks like FSX.
I was just gonna say, yeah, it looks like the new Microsoft.
Well, with that concludes round 3 here. Interesting battles all the way across the grid, and certainly it's going to affect the championship. Alessio's most likely, if not certainly, going to be leading the championship coming into round 4. And interestingly enough, there's going to be a bit of a change at the commentary box for round 4. Unfortunately, I will not be present. I will be in Nepal. And so instead you will have Flying Cyan taking lead in commentary, with Ken Jake hopefully guiding him through the pre-race preparations.
Hopefully.
Oh, I don't know how I feel about being a lead commentator next weekend, but yeah, sure.
It's definitely gonna be you, man.
Try commentating from Nepal.
I don't think you even have like Wi-Fi reception. I'll be honest.
No, we'll just use the
Which airport are
satellite
you flying
phone for you.
into?
I think
Are you
Isama will
gonna-
provide that.
Are you landing at Paray? That crazy airport?
Say again?
Are you gonna go to that crazy airport, Paray, Nepal?
No, Kathmandu.
Oh, okay. Oh, and even that's quite a interesting airport. Good luck,
And- Wow, we
Yeah.
did finish the race so early, 4:14 p.m. for
Yeah,
Filipino
really,
time.
really early. But that's pretty much it. I won't be seeing the stream for the next week until I get back in Australia, and I believe after round 4 we have a week break. So I won't see people until the Fuji Grand Prix.
Yeah, hopefully you have a safe trip.
Well,
Yeah, enjoy your trip, man. Enjoy your trip.
So for more to the racing, thank you very much for watching. I've been Kindred Garlic. You won't be hearing my voice at least for a little bit yet, but you will be hearing these two lovely gents taking over for me in the meantime. So thank you all very much for watching, and I won't see you next week, but these two certainly will, for Spa-Francorchamps for the Belgian Grand Prix.
Yeah, you will be
Indeed.
missed the voice of Artito.
It's been a pleasure.
It's been
See
a
you guys
pleasure
for the
as
next
well.
race.
See you guys.